Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, I hear your feedback.
Yeah, I'm about to go in the other room.
I'm gonna let everybody file on in and we're gonna get to the
All right. All right. Cool. So it's recording.
file on in, everybody. Here we go. Brother Rich, you hear me, my brother? Go ahead and unmute yourself, Rich.
I hear you, brother. I'm here. I'm in the building. B1. B1 to everybody.
All day. Yes, indeed. All day, every day. I'm gonna let a couple more people file in, so we're gonna get this going. We're gonna get this really, really going.
Yeah, let's start the smoke.
And we got a lot of it for them. A whole lot. A whole lot. We're gonna go right down the list. D1 FBA Certified Black Society. Most definitely.
Smoke.
All right. I like where we at. I see a lot of people rolling in.
I'm
Smartest.
surprised you didn't put. I'm surprised you didn't put parentheses. No tethers allowed.
Oh yeah, no tethers. Hey, no, you know what? I did. No trolls, no tethers, no distractors.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all right. Hey, if they show up, we're gonna send them to the door personally.
Yeah, we got that. We might let them get like 2 sentences off, and then be like, "Where you from?" Oh, you from that? Bye.
Hey, all day. That's how we're gonna do it. All right, I see enough people in here. We're gonna go ahead and get this started right now. Definitely. I'm gonna start off with a little something I want to share with everybody. All right, I see enough people rolling in. It's gonna be the biggest reparations roundtable going on right now. I don't know about tomorrow or the next day or the day before, but right now, this is gonna be the most significant conversation about reparations in terms of foundational Black Americans, B1 certified Black society, because I see it as all the same. I see it as all the same. All right. Here we go. All right, we got enough people in here. All right. Welcome to the Reparations Roundtable, everybody, brothers and sisters, kings and queens, goddess and gods, foundational Black Americans only. This is going to be about us, B1 representatives, certified Black society. We're going to talk about reparations, but we're going to have the most thorough, healthy, sincere, direct conversation about reparations. A lot of these reparations, I know everyone sees it, they turn into debates with the dominant society. No, we ain't doing that. Not going to happen. Because we all know the tactics that they use or to stall us out. It's the same tactics they use in the 60s and the 70s and 80s and 90s. We're not doing that. That type of stuff right there is falling into their hands and doing what they want. So we can go ahead and skip that. If you are a tether, a troll, a distractor, and you're listening, you can go ahead and see yourself to the door, or we will see you to the door for your ass. Point blank, period. That's how it's going to play out today, because we're going to keep this thorough and we're going to get real solutions. I want to hear from everybody. Everybody. I'm going to bring in a lot of callers. So anybody out there who's got something on your mind, go ahead, bring it on up. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down and chop it up. Let's share notes. Let's strategize, mobilize, galvanize, so we can really get something done. But before I go any further, I want to say this about reparations. Reparations is not just a small policy. It's not something minor, something minute. This right here is very significant. And we, all of us, everybody listening now, me, you, everyone, we had the opportunity to go down as the most significant era in foundational Black American history. And we had the opportunity to achieve the biggest victory in foundational Black American history. Just think about what reparations and real solid reparations. Imagine what that can do for the future of foundational Black Americans, the after effects, the domino effects, the advancement, and we all have the opportunity to do it. And it's all right in front of our eyes. It's in the palm of our hands. We just got to make it happen. You know, we went from one goal line to the other goal line, punch in the touchdown. There's 5 seconds left on the clock. Who gonna hit that shot? We are, and we got to make it happen. It's the greatest time to be alive. I'll say this: if you are a foundational Black American or you are B1, this is the best time to be alive. I guarantee you that. Guarantee it, because we've already made this a significant policy already. No one else has really took this situation or took this conversation and brought it up to this level. There have been people in the past who kind of did their thing a little bit, but this ain't no onesies and twosies. As a mass, this is the biggest movement of foundational Black American policy. And we didn't just come and put it on the front doorstep of America and hit the doorbell and run. This ain't ding dong ditch. We don't put it on the doorstep, and if they don't answer, we're going to kick that motherfucker in. Trust and believe that. Trust and believe. But we got to do it by being on code. And it starts with conversations like this. And then these conversations turn into action. And then these actions turn into tangibles. And we all got to get it. We all got to represent and hold it down for each other. So I'm going to bring in a lot of people. I want everybody to talk and respect to the platform. I want you to say your piece, speak your mind. Don't worry about time. Speak your piece. But as I said, if you're going to take that plane off the ground, go ahead and land it. All right. So nobody goes long-winded and it goes too far and the conversation gets, destructed or anything like that. And we don't want any tethers or anybody, like Kid Gravity said, if a tether is spotted, they will be ran off the block. We will throw their ass out the club and they will not get a voice, none whatsoever. So we're going to start it off real good. I'm going to tell everybody first off, this is Black Alpha 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kid Gravity, my brother Rich. Y'all make sure you swing over to our channels, Black Alpha Network on YouTube. Check it out. It's exclusive. All my B1s know what it is. It's unique and it's straight B1 FBA Certified Black Society. Subscribe to that channel. If you follow me on Twitter, make sure you go ahead and hit me up. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, make sure you go ahead and check the request button now. We're going to make all of that happen. But as we're going to move on, I'm going to start it off by letting my co-host speak, and I want to hear what they have to say about reparations, and we're going to have a real healthy conversation, and these type of conversations are needed. But I will say this as well. It's all about us right now. It's all about being on code and the significance. We stand on the shoulders of our ancestors. And our ancestors are one of the reasons why we're here. This ain't just about slavery. This is about Trayvon Martin, Eric Gardner, Philando Castillo, Rakita Boyd, Sandra Bland, so on and so forth, Breonna Taylor, anybody, you name it. This is about everybody who has been a victim of any form of oppression or victimization in terms of the dominant society right here in Foundational Black America. So we're going to represent to the fullest, and we're going to have a healthy conversation, share notes, explain to each other where you at, and I want everybody to get a piece in. So as we say, let's get it in, let's go to work and do what we do. Kid Gravity, the floor is yours. Tell us how you feel, brother.
Good evening to everyone. This is Kid Gravity. Like Black Alpha Network said, I'm a YouTuber, just trying to make my place over there. And yes, I am B1 and also a firm believer that foundational Black Americans and descendants of American slaves should get their reparations because you guys deserve it. And without that, I don't think Black society is gonna finish healing from what happened 400 years ago. And for those who are against it, it's cool. Stay on that side of the fence. Stand in your truth. But just know when this does happen and the legislation happens and everybody gets what they get, ain't gonna be no jubilees out there. People gonna go straight to work rebuilding what the Black Empire should be. So if they do come, say brother and all that, just keep it moving. And I need y'all to get this so I can get the blueprint because Queen Elizabeth, France, the Arabs, and the Dutch gotta come see me for mine. And that's all I gotta say.
I like how you said that. Brother Rich, tell me what's on your mind.
I mean, I want to address the people who are against reparations. A lot of them, or I want to address the people who say, "Oh, stop begging America for reparations. Do this, do that." Y'all motherfuckers, people be owing y'all motherfuckers $100, and y'all ring down they goddamn phone for $100, $200 when they owe y'all money. But when a nigga owe me 500,000 or a nigga owe FBA or B1 $500,000 or $1,000,000, you telling me not to beg for my goddamn money? Are you serious?
Sad.
A nigga owe you
Fact.
down the block $100, and you cut him off, you talk bad about him, you do all this, and you do all this, but when it comes to FBA, we asking for 500,000 a piece or $1,000,000 a piece or $2,000,000 a piece, and you telling me not to keep asking for my money? Are you serious? But when it's one-on-one, when somebody owe you money, you $200-300, you going crazy, and I can't go crazy for $500,000 or $1,000,000. You lost your damn mind.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Everybody turns into something they're not whenever reparations comes up. People turn into accountants, don't know nothing about accounting. People turn into economists, don't know nothing about the economy. And these are all deceptive ways to try to get foundational Black Americans off that curve because we're on code. The whole world is shook right now. The whole world is shook right now. Nobody's been on a reparations kick like we've been on right now ever in the history of America. No one's really been on code like we have in terms of foundational Black Americans. So you see the deceivers coming from a multitude of different ways. You got the liberals. Oh, this is another thing. Democrats, Republicans, anybody with a political affiliation to either one of those parties, don't even ask to speak because I already know it's going to be some type of backhanded, backmind, slick way of trying to prevent us. So that's not happening. This is going to be FBA only. But I'm going to bring in a couple speakers. First off, I'm going to speak to it like this. But before I do, I'm going to ask a question, and I want you to answer the question that I ask, and then I want you to go ahead and speak your piece. We're going to start off like this. The question is, and I'll answer it before I ask it. My answer to this question is both. But I ask everyone out there, in terms of receiving reparations, would you prefer cash payments, land, or etc.? I say all the above. Anybody else? I want to hear what you want to say. So I'm gonna bring in Liz Setter. Go ahead. Is that what it is? Liz Setter, I think it is.
Yes.
Go,
Yes.
speak your mind, Queen.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Yes, I've been on this since 2016 regarding our reparations. I feel that we deserve every penny we were worth from 400 years of slavery to now. I'm of a child of late 70s, early 60s. I have been bused to school with watermelon. I'll be 60 this year, so I have seen it all. I've been through the 70s, 80s. I've been through the crack era when our people was turned to crackheads by this government. Um, we deserve reparations more than 5 million apiece and retroactive back money regarding that. We should get a check every month, like they give the American Indians. They get a check for $30,000. We need a check like that too, every month as well. We need land. We need cars, and we definitely need horses because we have to cultivate the land as well. So all of that should be included. That's all I got to say. Peace.
Much respect, Queen. Much respect. I agree wholeheartedly. All the above. One without the other is a waste of time, and a waste of time is not the line that we're on right now. We need it all in every aspect of it. All the above, just like everybody else. America acts like they don't understand how reparations can be achieved, but in reality, the blueprint has already been laid out. The format has already been laid out. All we have to do is look what everyone else does. I got another question for you, though, Queen. I got one more
Yes,
for you.
yes.
I can't let you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I can't let you go too quick.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of reparations, how do you feel is our best means of achieving it? Do you believe it's boycotting the system and forcing them to do it? Do you believe it's through voting, or do you feel it's a combination of all?
It's a combination of both. We have to very much voice our opinion, and we need to put some type of funds together so we can get people that's going to help us build this better. We can't just do that with talking. We have to let some money involved. We got to put a motion into plan. We can't just let it go, okay, we're going to have reparations going around without putting somebody in place to help us build on this. It just can't be a talk. It got to be some money involved. We got to set something aside. Even if it's $5 a week, we have to put some type of fund together to get our people in line.
I agree completely. How do you feel about that, Kid Gravity?
I'm with it. I like that. Me personally, I think it might just be, I'll say just cash and land.
Mm.
Now, if you feel that we need land, I like what the Queen said because you got to have other things to go along with the land.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, I would rather you guys take that cash and buy up all these abandoned buildings in the hood. At least that way, people at least have assets on their books,
mm-hmm.
so that you could flip that later.
Mm-hmm.
And at least that way, also you can start pushing out these other races out of our neighborhoods,
Exactly.
and we can control our own economy again.
Mm-hmm. We're having too much money. Speaking of money, we have too much going out of our, environment. You have people that's coming here, from the Middle East, and they open up these little penny ante stores, and we're getting ripped off. And you see their kids riding around here in Maseratis. How fair is that? Our economy is nowhere right now. It's everybody else's economy, but ours.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Particularly where I'm at right now, the whole financial sector is ran by people who are non-FBAs all across the board. And these people come here, as we always say. One of my principles is they come here and they practice what I call immigrant supremacy.
Exactly.
Which is, it's an off-brand version of supremacy where the whole world understands that when you come here, how to treat foundational Black Americans, and it's a mimicking way of the dominant society, and they try to perpetrate this through different means and keeping us down in a functional economic level is the main way that they try to achieve it. I do believe this: Black foundational Americans, the main thing that we have to do is no matter what. So, I mean, you figure if everyone gets a check, all it takes is, I don't know, a quarter of that for us to flip the economics.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It doesn't take every single last person to get a check and then try to turn up. All it does, people can waste their money all they want to. I could care less if a quarter of us go ahead and put that money in good places. And like you said, Kid Gravity, start buying back buildings, start buying institutions and companies that could change the whole arena inside out. So I agree wholeheartedly with that. Land, money, and then once you get the money, put the code together. And once you get the code together, we're unstoppable. How you feel about that, Brother Rich?
I say that the only thing is needed. I'm sorry about that. I say that the only thing is needed is money. Because when you got the money, you could go buy the land, and when you buy the land, you could build communities. When you build communities, you can enforce the code, which is the most important thing. When you go to our neighborhoods throughout America right now, black neighborhoods, some of the worst neighborhoods you go to, in them, there's no code. There's nobody that's gonna clean up the streets. There's nobody that's gonna say, "Hey, pull up your pants." There's nobody that's gonna say, "Hey, let's paint the streets a certain color." There's nobody that's gonna say, "Hey, we need every house to look a certain way because we have a standard here." When you go to white neighborhoods, they have a standard. Every store looks a certain way because there's a code in place. In our neighborhoods, we have no code. Everybody just do what they want to do. Every other neighborhood, you can't do that. Why? Because there's a community. So we need the money to buy the land. You get the land, you build a community. You build a community, you have the code.
Yeah, I concur with that wholeheartedly. Tone J37, you go ahead and unmute yourself. Tone J37, go ahead. I see you. All right, all right. I'm not sure if you're hearing what I'm saying, so it's all good. We'll keep it moving, keep it pushing. The means of reparations in terms of finances and in terms of actually accumulating it. We all know America can wipe their ass with this money. Look at the wars that they spend. Look at foreign aid. All these things in simultaneous means they all add money and money and money to the economic system. There you go, Tone J37. You there?
Hey, I'm still here. Yeah.
All right, I'll cut my statement short. Tell us how you feel. How do you feel about reparations? How do you feel about achieving it, and anything that's on your mind, and any in particulars?
I just feel that we deserve reparations. I mean, my ancestors, they did the work, they put in, what they did. So, yeah, reparations. But trying to get reparations, we got a lot of interference and we gotta sort that out. I'm noticing that it's a lot of people that are like, yeah, reparations is good or whatever, but when it comes to us, it's like later for that.
Right. How do you feel is the best means of dealing with these type of people? Because we know these people exist. We know the distractors are out there, the tethers. How do you feel we deal with them? I'm for a zero tolerance policy. If you see them coming, run them off the block. That's how I feel. How do you feel?
Absolutely, absolutely, because I'm one of the ones that my ex-wife is Jamaican. I'm giving you kind of the short story. I'll keep it the Reader's Digest story. And I noticed that the whole, collaboration was like off code. You know what I'm saying? It was like, hey, yo, let's try to do this, let's try to do that. Let's pay for the house here, let's do this here in America, and then we can do like a refinance or something like that, and then we can just knock that little Jamaican thing off in one whop. You see what I'm saying? But I got gonged in the game. You know what I'm saying? She was supposed to pay me. I'm giving y'all too much information, but I need to give you this information so other FBAs can understand what the game is. I got gonged in the game. I ended up paying her. You know what I'm saying? When we got divorced, it's like, well, wait a minute. You was the one that needed the green card and the citizenship and all this other nonsense. How the hell am I paying you? You never paid me my money. She was like, oh, we was together for 8 years. It's like, well, But that wasn't the plan. The plan was you needed your paperwork, you pay me, you know what I'm saying? You go your way, I go my way. Before even citizenship and all that other nonsense. But that's just touching on the iceberg. You know, it was more to it was a whole lot more to it. But I'm just saying, FBA's be aware of the game.
Where are your people from? Where are your people from in America?
My people was from Georgia, a small town in Georgia. You'd have to get a Georgia map to find out where they're from.
Oh, I know all about Georgia. Southeast Georgia, northern Georgia, which part?
South. Adel, Georgia. Have you ever heard of that one? Adel,
I know all about that. Yep, yes indeed. I know all about that. Yes indeed. That's it's very small town. That's smaller than small.
Yeah. You just stop there to get gas and keep it pushing.
We call them drive-throughs. It was drive-throughs right there.
Exactly. The only thing popping is the Waffle House, man. Everything else is closed down after 10.
I appreciate that. All right, brother, I'm gonna bring in somebody else. I like your insight. We're gonna add that to it. It's all about strategizing.
Absolutely. All right, B1.
B1 all day. Black Vindicator, go ahead and unmute yourself. Let's talk about it.
Hey, what's going on, bro? I appreciate this space, man.
All love, man. All love. What's on your mind?
Yeah, good to see this space because I had to dip out of the other space with that Puerto Rican always sucking up all the energy every damn spot he going to. So, yeah, I'm all for reparations.
How you feel is the best means of achieving it? Playing through the system or withdrawing yourself from the system?
I personally feel like I personally, for myself, I believe in breaking the system from within. That's just how I do. I say that because that's what white people do. That's what other people do. That's what immigrants have been doing. They become a part of the system and then they undermine it. I say we become a part of the system and get it back to on our track, on our code.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And you made a point because I'm noticing a lot of these other spaces, they live for the debate. We're not here to debate with anybody. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got to take control over something. Like Brother Rich was saying, when somebody owe you money, you go and take the money. You don't wait around. You don't do a job for somebody and they say, oh, we're not going to pay you. You know what I'm saying? You got to go out and you got to get in. And a lot of times we get involved in these pointless, minute debates with people, and they're only there to stall us out, like that, you know, Puerto Rican and all them other people out there. They're only there to stall us out. So you got to come with it. If you were really about reparations, taking sole ownership over it and actually achieving it through political, economic means is the only way that you're going to actually get where you need to go. So some of these spaces where they openly bring in, I've seen them skip over FBA and bring in non-FBAs just to debate with them. And I don't understand the logic behind that at all. I got another question for you, though, brother. One, where are your people from in America? Where are your people from?
I was doing my genealogy. I was actually just trying to just do it for whatever, but it looks like I'm from Talladega. Where's Talladega? Mississippi? Somewhere in Mississippi?
Yeah, I think that's Mississippi. That's deep south. I know that for sure.
In Talladega?
Talladega, yeah, I couldn't get that word
out. Oh yeah, that's deep south.
Yeah,
that's NASCAR country.
Yeah, that's the one. And I was looking at my lineage and I kept seeing I had a bunch of mulattoes, so I figured, okay, I got a lot of white people. And unbeknownst to me, I'm starting to see that there was a lot. I thought mulatto meant black and white, but now I found out mulatto can mean just mix. And I believe I'm related to some Choctaw tribe. I didn't know that.
Yeah, mulatto was more like black and Indian.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, that's my cousin who had my family history. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, down that way, they got full tribes down there that are untouched, that are purely melanated, that have no mixing at all as well. A lot of the tribes down that way are full-blooded Indians, black though, haven't been touched with a drop of any outsider. So you might have some people down there that aren't so mulatto and they're just pure melanated black Indians that, you know, stepped away from society and went off into their own spaces and whatnot. But yeah, that's deep south right there. But the best way to I agree with your point. I like what you're talking about. You know, the best way to get it is to step outside the system. I believe that a lot of the immigrants and these foreigners who come here, they don't have a problem with reparations. They have a problem with reparations being achieved and they don't get $1 from it. That's their problem, because I guarantee you.
Exactly. Yep.
You feel me? If they said that reparations could be achieved right now, they'd be all for it if they can get half or more than half. They'd have no problem with it. The main issue that I see is that they don't want us getting it because, you know, we're the class that they mooch off of. I call them, people say people of color, I say leeches of color. they're leeches of color, and they all they do is leech off Black Americans, and they eat off of our plate. And the moment that we achieve reparations without them is when they're really going to genuinely have an issue with them. So this is why they have all these diversions, these distortions, and different tactics to undermine us and backhand us, so they can prevent us from getting it. But
So,
you keep
so
your
we're
eyes
gonna
on
talk.
them.
We're gonna talk about the California incident, right?
Speak on it. Speak on it, brother.
That vote on that reparations thing, and those two immigrant people said no, and it basically killed the bill for now.
Wow, I didn't know about that. Why am I not surprised? Why am I
Yeah,
not
yeah.
surprised?
Tariq did like a whole thing because he talked on it, and they did like a recap, and yeah, they because of those two, it got stalled for a year. So FBAs in California were on their way to getting some sort of like monthly check.
And immigrants. Yeah, okay. There goes that
Yeah.
immigrant supremacy again. Once again. How you feel about that, brother Rich?
I mean, one thing I want to say is that we foundational Black Americans is the only group of people on Earth who don't get help from nobody. Every other community gets help. The Chinese get help. They help each other, and they get help from their governments, and they get help from this government. The Arabs, the Indians, the whites, everybody gets help. Literally, white privilege is welfare. Everybody gets help. We're the only group of people who not only don't get help, but we're shamed into getting help. Like when we're told, let's get some help, let's get some reparations. People tell us, oh, we're depending on the government, or we're doing this, or we're doing that. Every other group of people help each other, and they get help. Indians own all the subways, they own all the gas stations. How do you think they did that? They got help from their own people, and they got help from their government and other people. Every other group gets help. We get so little help, so little to no help, that we actually feel uncomfortable when somebody that walks up to us try to help us. Like you be walking down the block, and somebody be like, "Hey, could I like you?" Somebody be like, "Hey, could I help you with the bags?" Nah, I'm good. And we know we need the help, but the only reason that we don't take the help because we're shamed into getting help, and that's the point I want to make.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. It's the underclass. Anybody who understands economics, sociology, and form of economics understands that foundational Black Americans have been placed in a position to be the underclass. Capitalism has to have a thriving upper class, and they have to have an underclass. And we've been underclass since day one in this country, and that's the position that they want to keep us in. This is why they're so afraid of the reparations conversation, because they understand that reparations would change Black economics overnight. Even the smallest form of economics would change it, or excuse me, the smallest form of reparations would change our economic position overnight. And they're aware of this. They have to keep us in an underclass, stuck and trapped in poverty throughout all 50 states. The last time a Black American has ever pushed forth this reparations plan, we've been pushed to the side, and other groups come to undermine us. As I'm getting more speakers in here, groups come to undermine us and take it away from us because they know when foundational Black Americans get money behind our soul and get money behind our motivation, it's a different ballgame. We have achieved so much without money, with being the underclass. Matter of fact, I'll go as far to say I'm not sure if there's an underclass in the world that has achieved more than we have. Any other underclass, it becomes completely docile, defeated, pointless. If you go to the South America, the underclass, which is usually Black people, those people don't exist. They like you walk right around them. They're not even on half the census bureaus. But foundational Black Americans, we are the ones who have achieved an underclass state. So imagine what would happen if we actually had finances to back the motivation, the strategic value that we provide to this country. It would be a game changer, and they know that. They know that. This is why they come at us with so many different forms of undermining, and they send in different groups to try to take it away from us. But it never happened. Speak on some more of that, Kid Gravity.
Well, I did some math the other day, and this is probably the main reason why they don't want to do it. We would overnight become the second biggest economy in this country and the fourth largest in the world.
Wow, wow, man.
And you know the U.S. does not need a competing economy between their borders because
Now,
we could literally come in and basically undercut everybody that they do business with and give them sweetheart deals and move the economy over this way. and we can manipulate it the way that we would need to manipulate it to get profit that quick. We'd essentially become the new U.S. government.
I always say this: if we know that, then they know that. I'm glad you brought up some math because everybody sits here and they speak about how there's no money involved. That's one of the talking points, and quite frankly, the excuses, alibis, and justifications that they provide. But America has all the money. What does it say? He with the golden rule makes the rules. You know what I'm saying? So here we go. I'm gonna give you some math right now. The war in Iraq was $2 trillion. The war in Afghanistan was $2.3 trillion. They both happened simultaneously. That's $300 million a day. Those two wars, those of us who remember the war on terror, quote unquote, the war on terror was $300 million a day, and that's according to Forbes. Every single American could have got an Ivy League education with the money that we spent. The war on terror in general was $8 trillion. Foreign aid was $50 billion annually. The top recipients of foreign aid is Israel, $3.1 billion, Afghanistan, $1.5 billion, Egypt, $1.4 billion. Do you know any American that travels to these places?
Oh,
Where
you
does this
forgot
happen
one
today?
though. You forgot
Give
one
me
though,
numbers.
brother. Uh, Biden and Congress just said almost 14 billion is going over to Ukraine. They just signed off on it last night.
Okay, and that's
No,
not okay. Speak on
let's
it. Go ahead.
let's try like 24 billion.
Mm-hmm. This
Yeah,
for
we know it's
Ukraine.
gonna go.
24 for
It's gonna
Ukraine.
go up,
20,
but
20 it's exactly 24 billion. I keep up on, current events as far as the commission regarding reparations for California. That's going to go on March 28th. I have some numbers if people wish.
Tone J, I'm gonna need you to mute yourself. I'm getting a lot of feedback.
all right, go ahead, Lizette.
All right. We back in there. I had to go ahead and clean that up real quick. Had to clean that up. So we're saying, can you repeat yourself again? Let's say, how much money did you say?
I think she said 24 billion.
24 billion. Okay, well, you can add that to what is the Equality Act that he passed for the LGBTQ. That's 2.6 billion. The Afghanistan refugees is 6.4 billion. The people separated by Trump at the wall, that's what 1,400,000,000 a piece. So
Mm-hmm.
the money is obviously there. Not to mention the 600 billion that they spend on defense annually.
Yeah, but this is Democrats. They never spend. They never stimulate the economy. They just spend the money that they think they have.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it goes to everyone but self. So the argument about America not having money, let's get this straight. America is the biggest empire in the history of the earth. America has more money than they can count. They're bathing in fucking dollar bills. They can get any policy passed. They can get any type of law presented. It's a matter of priority. And I tell Black Americans all the time, we're going to have to push this. That's why I say we have to take ownership over the reparations conversation. America does not want foundational Black Americans to achieve anything. We can't even get basic rights. You understand what I'm saying? So in terms of actually getting money, it's always going to be resistance. It's always going to be some type of distortion where they try to keep us away from it. But in reality, what we're going to have to truly do, I believe, is we're going to have to start boycotting people who do not support full cash payments for reparations. Full cash payment, like boycott. I'm not talking about some damn fake protests or some like NBA shit or like the NFL or put Black Lives Matter on the floor or wear decals on your helmet. We got to really genuinely boycott any institution that does not support fully, and I'm talking about through action, reparations, cash payments, and we got to be direct on cash payments because if not, they're going to try to give us HBCU charities or, free government assistance and bus rides and Uber rides and DoorDash, a bunch of nonsense that doesn't
And
play.
R&B months.
Exactly, exactly. This is why we have to push forward to it.
I want to address something too, if you don't mind.
Speak your mind, brother.
I want to address the people who say, like, I know Dr. Umar, he says this a lot about how if we get reparations, we're going to spend that on clothes, we're going to spend that on sneakers. That's a damn lie. And the reason why I say that is because people make it seem like black people are these group of people who are just dumb, or they're slow or they don't know what they're doing or they're losers or they're bums. But that's the complete opposite. The reason why we don't got things popping the way we should is because we don't have the resources. We don't have the money. But best believe when we get the money to do what we can do and what we want to do, we're going to have real communities with real hospitals, with real schools, with real uh you know places where people can come and live their life without having white supremacy on top of us. So that's something I want to address. A few people do say that oh, we're gonna spend it on frivolous stuff, but that's a damn lie. We don't have the things we have because we don't have the resources. When we get the resources, we're gonna build the things that we need, and we're gonna do great things with it. I believe in black people. I believe in FBA. I believe in B1. Even if there's a group of us that spend our money on stupidity, there's gonna be more than enough of us that's gonna spend it on land, on real estate, on stocks, on investments, on all type of great things that's gonna bring back a great return for us. And that's something I wanted to address. You guys can go ahead.
Oh, I got to chime in on that because you nailed that. That was a perfect assessment. I concur with that statement. I mean, look at it. Foundational Black Americans have achieved a lot with half of us being off code. There's been a small group of us who are on code, and that small group of us who are on code have everything right at the palm of our hands. I mean, we've done it all already. We don't need a lot. We don't need a lot. All we need is a couple people on code. I mean, look at Africa. Africa has all the numbers, but they don't have enough people on code, and they get dominated. All we need is a few people on code. I don't care if people go out and spend money at the club, Nikes, all that BS, because a quarter of us spend our money the right way, communicate together, build together, work together, grind together. They can skip over all those people off code. We do it now. We do it now. We literally have politicians who work against us. We're the only group in the world that has
It,
politicians who work against us. You feel me, brother?
exactly, that's true. We just need a small group of us that are on code before the money arrives. Let's say a year before it arrives, we come together, we have a meeting. Listen, we're about to buy up this whole entire community. We're about to buy up this whole entire state. We're about to buy up all this land over here. That's all we need. We don't need a whole bunch of people that's on code. Just a few of us. Even in white society, it's not a lot of powerful people. It's only a small group of powerful people in white society that's calling the shots. Don't get it twisted. The entire white society practices white supremacy and they're all on code, but it's only a small group of them that are powerful enough to make things happen. And we can do the same thing in the black community. It only takes a small group of us who are powerful, who have resources, who have power, wealth, and influence to make things happen. We only need a small group of us, not many, not a lot.
I just have
Absolutely.
one request for y'all.
Speak on, brother.
Please move in silence.
Facts, facts, facts. Yeah, we don't need anybody putting it out there. Like these celebrities who always have business deals and they broadcast them live. Like they got a new album coming out. We don't need none of that. None of that. I always say this, and I'll say this as well to elaborate on what Rich was saying. I refute stereotypes and misconceptions about foundational Black Americans as a means to keep us away from achieving reparations finances. They'll run stuff like, "Oh, y'all gonna spend your money this way. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do that." That type of rhetoric basically is saying, "Y'all NIGGERs can't handle this money." You know what I'm saying? And I refute any type of stereotype like that. You don't do that with other groups. Other groups, they just cut checks and don't even care where their mind is at, don't care where the will is at, or any of this. So we have to stay away from the stereotypes. And the sad part is, I actually hear black people say it. Unfortunately, black folks a lot of times. Dr. Umar, and I've met Dr. Umar, but Dr. Umar sounds like he doesn't go ahead and hop on the plane going back to Africa because I don't know what he's talking about. He done lost his damn mind, but that's another story. But I want to bring in Marlon. You've been waiting with your hands up, brother. Go ahead and speak your mind. How you feeling?
All peace and love, family. I would try to keep this brief. As Brother Rich said, there is this stereotype that we can't handle the money. I highly disagree with that because a lot of people trying to start businesses. And I don't know, y'all watched Tariq's video. I think it was a couple months ago. The brother had a popcorn company, went to the late night show, made a fun joke about it, had success after it. Then they closed that brother down because his small fucking popcorn business was dirty somehow. Like they use rules and regulations against us just for small tat things, And while we have like these Chinese shops who serve fucking rats and fucking pigeons, and we don't even know what's in their fucking food, but we don't know, like a health inspector don't come in there and ask them a whole bunch of questions. And also another point about the money for the about money that people are getting. I heard that the LGBT, like the white side, they're getting money based on the year that like the marriage was like legal. So if they got married
Yeah.
before it was legal, like they would get like a lot of money, and it would be like monthly checks coming in because they was like not agreed for not being a same sex marriage.
That there was a case in New Mexico. Some dude just he got a payout for his spouse's death, and now he's getting like $13,000 a month
Like
or
like
$1,300 a month.
see like and we out here struggling for like years and decades, and we have dilapidated buildings. I know in Bmore we still got dilapidated buildings, like still, and we ain't getting no type of help with that. And that's all I got to speak on. I'll take my plane there.
Oh, that's a great point. That's a great point. They never speak about any of the drawbacks from other communities. They basically lean on stereotypes to present it. That's exactly what we expected, though. I mean, you have different resistance that comes from different areas. You have the liberal who tries to come at us from some kumbaya aspect. That's his means of resistance and us achieving reparations. You have the don't rock the boat black folks, and they really don't want to upset the dominant society. You have a lot of that type of stuff, and no one else has to deal with this. Everybody else, they go down, they pull out a check, they write it, they give it to them, go on about their day. With foundational Black Americans, it's always something. I'm gonna bring in was it Twizzle? Go ahead and speak.
No, Free was first.
Oh, Free. Go ahead, speak your mind.
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother Freeway.
He might be calculating his check right now. All right, so Twizzle, you can go up.
What's up, everybody? What's up, Black Alpha? What's up with the kid, right? You know what I'm saying? What's up with everybody in here? I just came in to say what's up, man. You know, I don't got too much to say, but the only thing I got to say is cut the fucking check. You know, we not asking for nothing and we don't want nothing else, man. And all bullshit aside, we ain't being distracted by all these outsiders and these infiltrators, you know? Like you said, this is chess, not checkers. You know what I'm saying? So every move we make, they finna try to counter our move with these infiltrators, but we finna not really pay attention to them. We only paying attention to the ones who finna try to cash us out. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I really don't have no other agenda. You know, I really don't have nothing that really matters to me except getting what's owed to us. And I'm tired of these cocksuckers too busy talking about, oh, we're crying and we begging and we asking. No, we demanding what's owed to us. This is owed to us. You know what I'm saying? And we ain't finna sit back and have to pander or have to listen to some motherfuckers throw us a pity party just to get us a vote. Man, fuck that. You know what time it is. If you're not offering us nothing, you're not getting nothing. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? You know how the game goes. This is America. One hand wash the other. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got to kick up. You know, in this case, the ups got to kick down. You know, they got to kick down to us, man, and we ain't gonna have it till it is. Not only that, knowing our history, we ain't finna save America until we get our shit. You know what I'm saying? I land my plane on that.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for that. Cherie, you're up.
Good afternoon. Well, I guess good evening now. I just want to say, like, I appreciate everyone, that's just saying the whole righteous, like, yeah, we get reparations, we gonna, do all these great things, and I believe that. Don't get me wrong, we've done it over and over again. If the, ground hadn't been pulled up from underneath our ancestors over and over again, imagine where we would be. But I'm gonna be that Negro right now to say, like, you know what? If I wanted to walk around on dollar bills every step I took for the next 20 years, that's my right. Like, that's how much my lineage has put into this country. And like it's been said over and over again, nobody else is getting their pockets watched or asking them, what are you going to do with this money if you get it, or how are you going to better all of humanity? Like, that shit never comes up with recompense for any other group. And I'm just sick of hearing it. It's a game. It's absolutely a game. Because if we really thought about this, and if that's really what was going to happen, money would have been dispersed a long fucking time ago. It would have went right back into the system. Right? I mean, that's really not hard to conceive. So for all of those people that want to become economists and financial advisors and all that other stuff, when we start talking about reparations for foundational Black Americans, just stop and admit that it's really you're anti-us. Like, that's what it is at the end of the day.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I should say. Sorry. Yes,
Hey,
ma'am.
I got to agree with that. I got to go ahead and chime in on that. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I like that whole energy of that right there. If I want to take this money and go do whatever the fuck I want to do with this money, I can do it because we done earned it. We deserve it. It's our check. Cut it point blank. And that's the whole energy behind cut the check. It's basically saying, fuck your words, cut the check, fuck your excuses, alibis, justifications. I want my goddamn money. That's exactly how it is. And that's how you take control over it. This thing where we get too caught up in the excuses or we're trying to disprove, the excuses that they give towards us, that gets us nowhere but exactly where we at without the money. If you want the money, go out and take it. Like I said, it's like doing a job for somebody. If you do a job for somebody and they say they're not going to pay you, you're going to go ahead and you're going to get your money by any means. So that's exactly it. I could take my money and go anywhere with it because trust and believe, them Indians is on the reservations pounding liquor bottles. You got a
Yes,
whole
sir.
goddamn thing of liquor bottles. They pounding them. I'm not even going to get into what the LGBTQ doing with their money.
Easy, easy.
Afghanistan.
We'll get flagged. Easy.
I'm
We're gonna get reported.
I put the sensor on. It's hard, but I put the sensor on. Hey, but go check my YouTube channel, Black Alpha Network, and we get it in over there, and it's a
Yeah.
lot more aggressive. But anyway,
I
Most
want to
definitely.
I want to chime in on that also.
speak on it, brother.
That is true because if somebody wants to go buy some damn Jordans or some flat screen TVs with the money, I don't. That's not my business. That's just like if somebody owe you $300 and they telling you they're not gonna give it to you because you're gonna buy Jordans and TVs with it. That's their money. You know that ain't your business. What the hell they do with the money? That's not your money. You owe them money. Give me my money so I could go buy my damn Jordans or whatever the hell I want to buy or my Louis Vuitton. That's my money. Give me my money so I can go do what I need to go do with it. Period.
Yeah, but you know what? Too rich. They're just gonna focus on the negative spending. That's it, and they're gonna use it as a shot at everybody.
And we
Kind
got
of
Yeah.
like that Dave Chappelle skit.
and we got it on it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go buy Jordans. Yeah, yeah, I am. Let me get my money though. Yeah, I'm gonna go buy some Jordans. Can I get my money, please? Thank you.
It's funny though because
Right.
they're the ones who sell us the Jordans. They're the ones who
Exactly.
manufacture the Jordans and mass market the Jordans to us and feed it to us like it's dinner. They're the ones who give us the Jordans, but then they use that as an alibi to not, provide us our reparations. And all those are stall tactics. Those are all just stall tactics. If you don't want to give us some money, don't give it. Everybody turn into pocket watchers when it comes to FBA. That's all it does. And excuses. They're going to be a plethora of excuses, a multitude of them. But all we do is knock them down and step over them and keep it on pushing.
Yes, sir. So let's get Chris and keep this thing. Well, yeah, let's. Chris is up. Chris.
Can you hear me, fam?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. What's up, fam? I'm new to this room, man, and I promise you I've been looking for this room. I'm 53 years old. I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma, the birthplace of where them crackers came in and burnt us down. But I want to say it like this. I just want to make a statement, man. This right here is well needed. You know, this is well needed. Y'all know we need that. We gotta have that. And that energy ain't going nowhere, bro. Not from my family. And there's a lot more people that think like us. They might not say it, but they think like us. The numbers are growing. We ain't taking no motherfucking no. We ain't taking no losses, man. We ain't got nothing to lose. We already at the bottom. We already at the bottom, and I've been hearing this hold your vote. I'm thinking about holding mines, man. And you ain't getting my vote if you can. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. Give me something. You're gonna give me something. And I just want to say, y'all, man, I appreciate this space. I love this space, and I'll be on this space for a long time. I'm pro-black. I'm blackly black, unapologetically black. I am FBA. You know,
Grown grown men and grown women in this chat. This is not the little
Yeah,
kid
hey,
chat with
there we go. This ain't for the play. This ain't for the weak of heart right
yeah,
here. There's a whole lot of certified B1 energy up in here tonight.
man, I'm
exactly.
B1, man. I want people to know that, and I know y'all feel it in my spirit. I need this to happen. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
before I
We.
pass off this earth, I want to see somebody get something. You know,
See, hey,
Yes,
that's
I
what
sir.
I love.
I heard a brother in there say, even if we got to go take it, it's ours. They owe us that. I don't want y'all to lose that energy. If I die today or tomorrow, man, don't lose that energy. If we got to give it to our kids, to our grandkids, we gonna get it. And that's all I gotta say, fam. I'm emotional. I'm gonna sit back and listen.
Much love, much love. I respect
Yes,
that
much
all the
love.
way
Yeah, take
live.
a deep
Can I,
breath. Take a
can I,
deep breath, brother.
Be
Take a deep
one, be
breath.
one.
Yeah, take a deep
Hey,
breath.
B1 all day.
can I add a little tidbit?
Yeah, speak on it, brother.
Uh, just imagine your everyday lives. There's a consequence when you don't pay for something. If you don't pay for your rent, if you don't pay for your car note, if you don't pay for something in this country, there's always a consequence, and we should do that. If they don't give us our money or our check, there should be a consequence behind that.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, 100%, 100%.
All right, let's see who is next. I think A Token was next.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, yeah. The one thing I'm gonna say, I spoke about reparations with a family member of mine, and she told me that ship has already sailed. That really hurt my heart, you know. But then it made me kind of think, you got to kind of watch your family too, because there might be some people in your family. Not saying you got to cut loose, but it kind of just kind of reiterates the point that you got to move in silence. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We don't need everybody. You know what I'm saying, to kind of make this happen. But you just got to kind of watch everybody. You got to keep an eye open, and you really got to kind of be solid and kind of have to harden your resolve and understand that this reparations fight is maybe more important than some of the bonds that you've developed, some of your friends. I don't want to say your wife, whoever. I don't want to break up no relationships or anything like that. But you have to really harden your resolve, because this isn't going to be an easy fight. Right now, we've kind of been looking at people outside, but there's some people inside too. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about just the coons and things like that. I'm talking about people in your house. And we kind of got to look at that. And, we don't have to cut them off, but we just have to understand, what type of challenges we're going to deal with when we kind of move forward and get this thing. That's all I got to say.
But yeah, here's the thing though. A lot. Now that person you talked to, was that an older person?
No, I'm gonna tell you this, okay? And we know this is an issue, okay? The tragic mulatto, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So she's biracial. She's a staunch, stomp down Democrat. Highly educated woman, lover, to death. But it's just kind of one of those things. You got to kind of look and really assess kind of, who's on code, who's off code, who kind of knows what's going on, and who's tapping in to the grassroots, because there's some FBA people that ain't mulattoes, or whatever, and maybe they ain't staunch, stomp down, 10 toes down Democrats, and they might not be tapped into the grassroots, so they don't even understand the message and what's kind of going on. And I think that's where, it's important for, us to kind of expose them to that and kind of inspire them and kind of hip them to what's going on and maybe what they're supposed to do to get on code. Because to me, being on code, you have to kind of be tapped in. This is basically an example of network effects. You know what I'm saying? The more people that tap into this.
Could I add to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
You're 100% correct. It starts in your damn home. So if you're a man, a black FBA man, B1, it starts with your wife. It starts with your children. You start right there and it grows outside your house. You got to infiltrate your wife's head and get her on code with what you got going on. And then she's going to infiltrate the kids, and the kids going to infiltrate their friends at school, and that's how it starts. It starts right from your home. Why? Because in your home, that's who you're closest to. So whatever you tell them, they're gonna believe. Whatever you're down with, they're gonna be down with. Why do you think you see these white supremacists always have their wives spewing their rhetoric in all these documentaries? Why? Because it starts at home. They start with their wife, and then their wife take it to the children, and the children take it to the schools, and it goes down from there. So you're 100% correct, brother. Keep cooking. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep talking.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to kind of be that example. You know what I'm saying? You got to kind of be that kind of strength. You know what I'm saying? That they can lean on and that they respect. So you kind of just cast your buckets down where you are, but come into these spaces, get around other brothers and other sisters, who kind of have that strength and begin to kind of like assimilate, you know what I'm saying, and adopt that same energy, and I think that's really what this is for, is to kind of make that network stronger, to tap in and really pull that energy out and then channel that energy into your house and then outside of your house to other people in your community. And then we can really kind of move things to get stuff done. And I land my plane.
Appreciate that, brother. Thank you. Mister, you're up.
All right, thank you guys. I just want to say thank you. I put in a jumbotron. I don't know if you guys are sharing it or not. About $16 trillion for racism, and yeah, reparation is in order. They need to be paying up in more than the 20 trillion than Dr. Darity's projected. It should be yearly installments until eternity. That's how I'm looking at it.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Cherie, go ahead.
So I put up in the jumbotron as well a couple of things. The one I want to bring your attention to is that pie graph, because people like to talk about our spending power and how we got all this money as foundational Black Americans and where we're spending it and blah blah blah. Okay, we're spending that money because of how we're getting taxed. Like all of our money, most of our money goes to um, housing, it goes to transportation, it goes to food, it goes to clothing. And if anybody hasn't read the Black Tax, it's on Audible. It's a pretty short listen. If you can, like, please listen to that, because it just shows how it literally has never stopped. Like since slavery, everything has just been reinvented and reworked so that we're still the mules of society. Because when you think about this, like rich people get shit for free. Like they just give them shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but for us, they're taxing us. Like, just living in where I live right now. Okay, I have to pay an extra. I want to say $130 goes specifically to a regional public transportation tax. I don't even use it. I have a car. I don't use it at all. But that's literally $100 and something dollars just because I live in a Black area on top of that. So like when you add up all the things that were, higher interest rates and then just being denied certain things, relegated to certain areas, like it just, all of that adds up. So yeah, we're spending more because we're getting charged more, but we're spending more just to fucking exist. So I just really wanted to highlight that. So like people like Roland Martin, who out here acting like we got all this money and we just wasting it on, no. And he needs to get it how he can and not off of our backs.
You're 100% right, sister. When you're in survival mode, you're spending money on things that you need. It's not like you're just blowing money fast. No, you need these things. You're 100% right.
And also, but I don't want you to lose this point. I'm saying that we're being charged more for things like the same apartment. Foundational Black Americans are being charged more for that same apartment, or being relegated to an apartment that doesn't have amenities like fucking dishwashers and washer and dryer. So now you're spending more money just to have the same existence as, the white counterpart. Like, so that's what I mean. It's not about how we're spending the money. I'm saying that it's literally costing more for us to just fucking exist because they charge us specifically more.
Well said. Black, you're up. Black, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, man. I couldn't hear you clearly at first.
All right, go ahead.
As far as I heard my man say something earlier, I can't remember who it was, but as far as the getting our reparations, I feel like if we don't fight for the reparations now, however we get it, we pass this fight on to our children and even our grandchildren. I believe that the previous generation, no shade on them, no slight, but they didn't do enough, or they did as much as they could and didn't get reparations. So now the battle was passed on to us. If we don't do what we can, we're going to just keep passing it on. And this is going to be a generational thing of reparations, and it shouldn't be that way. This is long overdue, and I believe in my lifetime we can get our reparations now. I believe that we have the numbers, we have the code enough, Everybody's not going to be on code, but we can do it. We've already shown it with the Montgomery boycott and many other things that I'm not going to go into. Land.
Yes, sir. Steven, you wanted to say something?
Malik, give her the remote.
Oh, hell no.
Give her the remote.
Whoa. Easy. It's Friday. Easy.
You better give them that damn
Friday.
remote and stop playing. Y'all know how it go.
It's Eve. It's Friday.
Hey, let me chime in. Let me piggyback off of what brother just said a minute ago. I got to piggyback off that. He made a good point, real good point. It's about passing it down to the next generation. That's why I spoke of earlier, where already we have the chance to go down as the most significant era in foundational Black American history. And that's with all respect to everyone from the past. You know, imagine if we do pass down reparations, generational wealth, you know, to our children, children's children, whatever. Imagine being old, and instead of being old and sitting there seeing young Black folks still being shot by police and seeing oppression of our people, imagine being old and being able to tell, you know, your grandkids that we were the generation or the era that punched through reparations, and we're the ones who passed down generational wealth. We all speak of generational wealth and how to achieve it. The best means to achieve it is reparations. That could change Black economics overnight. So either 20, 30, 40 years, we're going to be telling a sad story, you know, or being held up by both arms, still marching in Selma, or still having rallies and protests and all that BS, or we're going to be able to tell a story of success, of achievement, and actually accomplishing our goals. So it's all on this era right now. Like I say, if you FBA and you B1, it's a beautiful time to be alive. And let's just go get it.
Yes, sir. So, Steven, are you there?
I'm here. It's Stephanie.
Stephanie, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I just wanted to say thank you for having this space. I wanted to piggyback off of what somebody had said earlier about Black leaders. I don't call them Black leaders. I call them Black misleaders, because what they're doing is literally leading us down the wrong path. Most of our leaders have been compromised, sadly, and they've been compromised by an organization. Many of them. I'm not saying all. Many of them have been compromised by an organization called AIPAC. Okay, that's AIPAC. You can look them up.
Yes, ma'am.
These
Speak on it.
These people are heavily infiltrating our Black leaders, our Black activists, in order for them to make it look as if they're doing something for the community. Meanwhile, they're only handing them crumbs, maybe a couple of dollars, just to keep us in one's position while they continue their agenda. And their agenda is, it's all about Israel. I mean, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that part, because I don't want you to channel to get shut
okay.
down.
Say it.
Okay.
On my space, I talk about the Jews all the time, so it's okay.
Okay, beautiful. Okay. They're compromising our community because they don't want the Palestinians to rise up. So they're using tactics to block out our voices in order for them to keep getting money from the U.S. government every single year. Meanwhile, they're coming back into the Black communities. They're gentrifying us the hell out. And if they can't get us out the way they want to, we're getting all these mysterious fires all over. Mysterious fires, robberies, the cops look the other way, or it's mass evictions. It's always something, okay? Or we're being threatened to move, okay? A lot of people don't know that, but yes, a lot of people are being threatened to move or sell their homes, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And there was a video out like maybe a year, about almost 2 years ago. This was right around the time of the death of George Floyd, okay? They had a secret meeting in Atlanta, Georgia, a secret meeting. And they were very angry about the protest because they said they feared that it was going to spark protest in Israel by the Palestinians of how they're being treated. So what they did was they said, you got to speak to the Black leaders. You got to speak to the Black pastors. You got to speak to the local activists. We got to get them to keep quiet because they will start something in Israel and they'll start protesting out there. And that's exactly what they said. I put that video up on Twitter and you cannot find that video anywhere. They removed the video completely off the internet. Okay, so we got to start holding these black leaders, these black local activists, we got to start holding them accountable because they're the ones that are hindering our progress. And if we can't get nowhere, then they are the sole cause of it. Okay, we are having a big issue with that, and we got to hold them accountable. We got to hold their feet to the fire. And I don't know how we're going to do it. I do have some ideas, but I know this is a lot of people want to talk, so I'm just going to mellow out for right now. Now,
Thank you for that. Uh,
I want to add to
Against
that.
my better judgment, I think for my podcast and my YouTube channel, I'm gonna do that video because I know the video she's talking about, and I know it'll probably get me in trouble, but I don't care at this point. So be on the lookout for that. I'll probably do it at the end of the month. I'll explain like the Israel connection to the black community.
How do
It's
we
gonna
find
scare the
your
hell
channel,
out of
Kid
you.
Gravity?
Kid Gravity Beyond.
That's YouTube, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed. Hey, before we go any further, it's Friday night, and I ain't gonna get in trouble, ladies and gentlemen. So I gotta say, Queen Alpha, I love you. That's my wife. She from Brooklyn. Salute, baby. All right, continue. Appreciate the love. Let's bring in somebody else.
Yeah. Troy was next.
Hi, good evening, family. Be1. I just wanted to say thank you for allowing this space. It's just so wonderful that we foundational Black Americans have this forum and that we can come someplace safe and talk about, what's going on. I love being a foundational Black American. We are the reason why this world is even here, and I am all for reparations. It's way past due. We're beating on this drum, and I agree and concur with everything that's being said tonight. People are actually terrified. These buffer groups and the dominant society are absolutely terrified that once we get our reparations, and we will, we're going to be a force to be reckoned with. We're a force to be reckoned with now without the money. Like you said, imagine how it's going to be when that money comes through. And I definitely do this for a lot of different reasons. We have to answer to our ancestors. We've been given a calling, and I've answered it as well as many others. And I also have a grandson as well. And I'm all for that generational wealth because he deserves to have something after I'm no longer here. And I also want him to live in a world where he's not going to be gunned down because of the color of his skin. And it's just a wonderful time, like you said, to be a foundational Black American. I'm just so glad that I'm awake and I can participate in this. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Much respect to you, Queen. Much respect to you, Queen. I got another one I gotta add. I gotta add this in real quick. And it is a beautiful time to be a foundational Black American. It's a beautiful time to be B1. This is a special, exclusive, unique era. I don't like saying generation because generation puts it in age. This ain't isn't about age. This is about everybody from the youngest to the oldest, the short, tall, in between. I don't care when you were born. It does not matter. If we all are on one code and we all represent that Black soul, that real pride, because remember, we are the only ones keeping the lights on. I say this to everybody. Where do you believe the Black race would be if there were no foundational Black Americans? If we woke up tomorrow and there was no foundational Black Americans, where would the race be? And now all you got to do is go look how Black people are treated in other countries, and you got your answer right then and there.
Hey,
So this
brother,
is a
we be
beautiful
on
time to be
boats right
alive.
now.
We be on boats and shackle. It be slavery
Yes, sir.
10.0.
Singing "We Shall Overcome."
And that's exactly where they're trying to keep us. So we're the ones keeping the lights on. We're paying the bills, no pun intended, and reparations will be achieved. Yes, indeed.
All right. Cool. Yes, sir. So, sister, you are up.
Hey, the peace, power, and reparations. So what I wanted to kind of follow up on is when we were talking about how we had to educate our children for the future, and what I would suggest a really good starting pack is Dr. Claude Anderson's Power Pack of books. And I think the pack includes Black Labor, White Wealth, Powernomics. Dirty Little Secrets, Black History Dirty Little Secrets, and Black History Reader. Okay, that is a really good start. And what I did with my kids is that my youngest is 12. I kind of have to talk to him, but my other one's at 19 and 28. So anytime there's a gift giving opportunity, I just give the books. And I'm just really deep on the books because it's very, very important. Let's get ourselves back to the books because, like, I know I'm on the Twitter, like, who am I, right? So we're on this Twitter, we're on the social media with our kids, but I power them down. I power them down because it's something about what I think the frequency and understanding patience and really absorbing things and not being like quick at the trigger. When you have a book, you have to really take your time with it. You have to absorb it. It's not like a McDonald type of bits and pieces of information. So I think that that is very, very important. I think it's important, the way that they're moving, but I think it's very, very important because I think when you have that discipline, the discipline of patience and the discipline of like taking your time, it gives you a certain amount of strength, right? It gives you like more power because you have that discernment, you have that um you just have that patience and you can't be out here being triggered all the time. So maybe it's a mental thing, but it's something about those books. Get our kids back into the books. They got to learn how to get back to the drawing board or kind of to reflect because they're going to have some really serious things to go up against. They're going to have some really serious things to pontificate on. So we need their brains and the way that their brains work to be like a balanced brain. I hope I don't sound crazy, but that what I'm saying is that we need to decompress and we need to get them back in those books, and we don't need a McDonald's society with our children. We need our children to be able to critically think, and they have to take their time and read those books because if they cannot critically think, they cannot debunk things. Um they cannot counteract. They won't know the difference between justice and injustice. So that's kind of what I wanted to say, and I wanted to rally on what somebody else said. I usually I write it down, but I'm cooking right now. So we've got to get our brain waves in order so we can absorb information, register it, critically think, and make good decisions, and also to articulate and communicate what we're trying to do. So get those books. That is a good start. And another one that I have, I gave my 19-year-old is the 7 steps to decolonize the mind. Very easy read. It's like less than 70 pages on, less than 100 pages. I know that, and that's by Philip Scott. Really easy read. Big, kind of the words are kind of big. It's kind of good if somebody's not a reader, but we've got to get our children back to reading, not to getting the infomercial type of information. We need to get them deeper and get them to think deeper. And I land there.
Yes, ma'am. And I got one other book for y'all, if you can. I know it's kind of hard to find it, but I know you can find it on eBay. Get "Are You Still a Slave" from Shahrazad Ali. That's a good deprogrammer for give it to people in your family, and you know make it like a fun family night because it's full of questions. So just ask them those questions and see how they think, and hopefully
Repeat the
you
name
can
of that
start.
book, brother.
"Are You Still a Slave" from Shahrazad Ali.
All right, that's a good one. All right, all right. I gotta piggyback off that real quick. Sister Sean, I appreciate your wisdom and I appreciate the suggestion. That was a well thought out answer. I appreciate it 100%.
Cool. All right, let's keep it going. Who is next? Tell the truth. You're up. Tell the truth. You there? Guess
Well,
not.
forgot. Okay, I'm here. I forgot to hit the mic off. I was all set. But yeah, well, reparations in progress, family. I appreciate what I've heard. I just come out of the barbershop, and we always, if there are ears that are open, I share what I can share. And I think where my sister Sean was saying, let's get into the books. That's awesome. Uh, I, the brother was asking, my barber was saying, well, how do we do this? I said, well, we can do critical thinking. Heck, while I was working, I just recently retired. I had a ninth grader break down the entire NBA with points. And my coworker and I said, you know what? He's spot on everything he said. Our children can do analytical thinking. We, some of the older folks and maybe younger, are so harassed and bothered on the day-to-day hustle that it would appear that we can't or don't want to, but we have to. So we have to challenge each other. We have to take those books, like my sister was saying. We have to seize those moments. And as I was sitting here thinking, I said, laughter and joy soothe some of the pains that are always with us. So we have to figure that we have to make sure we bring some flavor, which is what we do. We're the flavor of society. And some folk, their nutrition goes way off if they can't get good flavor in their food. So some may say seasoning and spices are not essential, but who can you convince that who eats well and eats correctly? They're going to have some good seasoning in that food. But my larger point is a reference to my powerful nephew, powerful minded nephew, a successful businessman. Uh, there's a strand of education in the family running from my mother to his mother, myself, and others. And he instructs on the college level if he wants to, instructs on the high school level, which he chooses to. Why does he choose to instruct on the high school level? He said, I stopped teaching the higher math because when I'm trying to build homes, I need workers who know what I'm talking about when we have to be mathematical with these materials and things. So I said, shoot, it's better for my community, it's better for me to make sure that I'm instructing young minds how to handle this here business that I'm about. Now, the other side of the coin is when we're going at the ills of society, which is something my family's always done before he was even born. He said, I just don't see us getting on cold. And that hurt my heart because I would have rather him say, will we ever get on cold? What's it going to take for us to get on cold? Versus him to just say, I just don't see us getting on cold. So, like you were saying, one of the brothers was saying earlier, I think he wanted to use the word inculcate. But then again, sometimes we do have to infiltrate. But inculcate is what my sister was saying. We have to be persistent in teaching and training on these points. We do have to inculcate our message at every opportunity. And other times we do have to infiltrate and get behind the enemy lines of some of the minds that are stuck in the darkness of believing that reparations are not going to come, and you shouldn't say that. You're talking foolish talk. You know, we have to do what we have to do because they may not be coons. They just may need for us to leave the light on. And when we have the opportunity, sometimes we speak some of the light of the truth that the justice we're owed, the justice we will receive. They have, a person who's been in the dark for a long time, they don't do real well if you hit them with all the light, right? So perhaps we have to work with certain individuals and give them a little bit at a time and let them mull it over because we need to win all that we can win, but I'm willing to accept that some, I don't know, they may get rolled over, they may get left behind, but we can't allow them to hold us back. And so I'm going to land my plane there. I love the energy again. I just encourage everyone, to whatever it is that you take from these spaces, hold on to it and put it to good use, because the critical mass that's going to break the knees of the Democratic Party or any other player, that we need to break their knees so that they understand that this is the new day. This ain't no talk. This is the new day, and we're going to have what we have to have. Peace out, family.
Much respect, brother.
Same to you.
I want to add a few points to what the last two callers said.
Speak on it, brother.
You want to weaponize everything that you have in front of you. The white society does that. They weaponize every single thing. They weaponize the schools. They weaponize the gyms. They weaponize the prison system. They weaponize real estate. They weaponize the food. Every single thing you have in front of you, you want to turn it into a weapon. So it's not only the books. We don't want the kids just to sit there and read books all damn day. No, you need to read books. You need to go outside. You need to do things with your hands. You need to weaponize every single thing you can get your hands on. We're not
Amen
just
to
going to
that.
focus on
Being ready in season and out season. That's what my brother's talking about.
exactly. We don't want you just
If I
focus on.
could, before I get out of this car, one thing I said to the barber was, if you have a person who's coming with religious mumbo jumbo, you have to be ready to deal with that. Now, if you're not well versed, then know who to go to, or perhaps even
let me finish my point, brother. Let me finish my point.
All right, my brother.
You want to weaponize every single thing, not just books. You want to go outside. You want to learn nature. You want to learn cars. You want to learn instruments. Every single thing can be turned into weapons. So, we got these older folks that come in here, and you guys just want us to stick to one thing. No, everything is a weapon in black society, because everything is a weapon in white society. They use everything. They don't focus on one thing, or we're just gonna. And that's another thing too. In black society, the older generation, this is why they're so stuck on voting, because they only like to use one thing as a weapon. Oh, let's go vote. Let's just vote. Let's vote. Let's vote. Let's vote. But you don't weaponize the stores in our community. You don't weaponize the food that you eat. So everything is a weapon in black society, not just one thing. That's all I wanted to say.
I got to piggyback upon that. You guys both make a very strong point, particularly when you're the underclass and you're utilized for labor. Foundational Black Americans, really Black people all over the world, are always used for slave labor. So that in itself, as tricky as it sounds and as complicated as it may be, that provides you a lot of opportunity to withdraw from. For instance, they rely on our dollar, they rely on our spending power. So simple boycotts can get things done. The problem is, it's not boycotting. The problem is Black folks half boycott, half don't, in and out, back and forth. If you got to stick to it. When all the NBA players did their little boycott a couple of days ago or a couple of years ago, the only thing they left out was "or else." You understand? You don't boycott and then go back and do it again tomorrow, or boycott for an hour and a half and then go play the ball game. You don't do that. You could easily right now, Black Americans could boycott several different things and America would fall. I'll give you one right now. If foundational Black Americans withdraw their service from the United States military, that would be a massive deal. Now, if you got to go to the military because it's a job and it provides means of getting paid, that's fine and dandy. I understand that and I respect that. But imagine if just I'll give a ballpark figure, 25% decrease in foundational Black American participation in the United States military occurred. That would affect the military so bad that someone will want to come to a table. Someone will want to have some discussions and tangibles will be presented. And you don't get any of this and you don't achieve any of this by participating in the system the way they want you to. So the slave labor, the person who participates in that, they have multitudes of opportunities to withdraw. You could right now, if somebody does not support reparations for foundational Black Americans in the terms of cash payments. We could target institutions and we could target companies and go after them straight up and down. Same with politicians. If you do not vote and you withdraw your vote, that can hurt the system. Like you said, brother, we have to weaponize what we have. Even if it's the smallest, most minor thing, you can take that small, minor thing and turn it into something gigantic. If you're on code, if you have cohesion, and if you practice it with real soul. So the United States military, voting, companies, institutions that have bad track records of dealing with foundational Black Americans, boycott them. Don't deal with them. Don't spend. We all talk about all the time, all these nail salons and all that. Quit going to these nail salons, they be out of business. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, what happens anytime foundational Black Americans have any type of protest to these nail salons? What do? They start throwing sales and they start having discounts. Now, imagine, and the problem is that when they have these sales and discounts, we go running back to them. Imagine if they had a sale or a discount and we said, nah, that ain't working either. You keep your sale and your discount. We could literally run these people out of business. And we could do that on a local scale. We can do it on a small scale. We can do it on a political scale. We can do it on a social scale. But you got to stick to it. So, yes, brother, I believe that weaponizing what you have and utilizing what you have can be achieved. All it takes is a little cohesion and a little bit of Black soul.
That's absolute fire. That's absolute fire. I believe that 100%. The communication of that idea, that is the match. That's the match and the fuse. We have to make that network and strike that match because, again, hitting them where it hurts, where they cannot ignore. They love their money. They love their security. You shake that tree, you shake that gate, and you shake that gate. That you get me going. You talk about, hey, brother, can you paradigm? Yes, that's the way we want to take it to the stage. We don't have to do some of the things that the powers that be and the old timers, and that would be folks a lot older than myself, think that's the only way it's going to get done. Like a guy like Jim Clyburn was so believing that reparations and the transformation that we have to have is never going to happen, that he said so many of the things that he said. But he has not seen the power of these young Black minds and the older minds like mine who are right along with you guys, with the family, that we will shake this nation and remake this nation. This nation has never been great without what we put into it. And it's going down because it is dying for the fresh energy, for the power, for the creativity, for all of the greatness that we are. This country has not been able to tap into it over the last 50 years, not the way it needs to. But in order to tap into it, we demonstrate that it comes with a price. And when we get their attention, it's a merciless battle. There's no softness. It's uncompromising, like the brother said. We have to be uncompromising on our critical points. The justice, economic, the social justice, which we're talking about, you cannot ever attempt to lynch us. Again, don't even think about it. So I hope some of you guys, and if you haven't, I'll retweet the link if you haven't listened to Judge Joe Brown lately. He just shared a master class a couple of days ago in another space. So, I'll send that link to someone and you can put it on the Jumbotron. Every time I try and get on the Jumbotron, I mess it up. But I'll send it to one of you guys and you can decide to post it for those who are not able to be a part of that, because the gems and the pearls that he was dropping.
We got other people that want to speak, brother. You got to keep it.
But that's it. I'm gonna move on off it, and I'll send that link to one of you brothers, and you guys can post it in the Jumbotron. Power out.
Hey, send it to me. Black Alpha Net, that right here, Black Alpha. Send it to me. DM it to me. I'll check it out for you, brother. I'll get it up for you.
All right, brother. I'll do that.
All right, cool.
Peace out.
Peace and love.
So, Harriet, you're up. What's up, my FBA brothers and sisters?
One love, family.
I wanted to lead with love. I just wanted to say I love y'all. And I just want to lead. I just want to lead with this. I want to just drop a few books on y'all because y'all already discussed it. So I'm going to drop the book, The Power of Law. and also the ISIS paper by Dr. Francis Wellesley. But what I wanted to get into is that we need to stop looking at leaders. Look what they did to our leaders. They put a target on their back. They want us to have leaders so they can kill them. The code,
Exactly.
the code is the leader, and the code is reparations. The code is knowing that we don't have no urban league. It's been co-opted. We don't have no NAACP. It's been co-opted. We don't have
I will.
no black. We don't have no black caucus. It's been co-opted. We got
Our leaders
we got to
is
know that the
control
code.
opposition.
Respectfully, sir. Let me finish. Respectfully, let me just get this off to my people, and then you can go. Respectfully, bro. I'm not. I'm just coming there. Let me finish this off. Respectfully, the code is knowing that the distractions that we have out here, of the music that we listen to, social media, sports, and how it's keeping us from being on the code, which is reparations. Also, we have to know our history. We have to know our past so we'll know where we're going. Knowing people like the Harlem Hellfighters give you war energy. That's why they taking our history out the school, because this makes you intellectually mad. This makes you intellectually upset. So you have the intellectual capacity to go and fight for your people. That's why they don't want to teach our history in the school and calling it critical race theory and not truly define it so it could be anything that they want it to be, so it could continue using it against us and oppressing us. Also, we need to start getting our children into robotics and IT, because that's the future. We need to teach our children how to code so they'll be out here in real life on some Matrix type shit, seeing the Matrix and know how to use the Matrix against white supremacy, and this Matrix of white supremacy against all white supremacy. All right? That's where we need to be. So we don't got no leaders. We're all the leader. And we're all splinter cells of that one foundation. And that foundation is foundational Black Americans and our reparations. I land my plane.
Big facts. I love that energy right there. That's what I'm talking about, brother. All the way. I agree with every last thing you
Also, the
said, family.
last the last thing I want to say is the most powerful thing that I've heard in here, because I'm a veteran myself, is doing a mass exodus from the United States military and us taking a stand, because that's very powerful, and that's something that I've spoken on my own time off spaces. But that's one of the most powerful stands we could do. We need to be on that type of energy to get what we want. This not gonna get done with us just talking on right here. Like the brother said, we got to do this on the outside, and we all got to be on code. Like the busing boycotts, we got to be on code like that now with no distractions. Respectfully, I'll land my plane there for sure, for sure.
Much respect. And that right there is what I'm talking about. A boycott of the United States military, a boycott of voting, any type of boycott of that nature done in mass would affect everything. Reparations will come to the table tomorrow if we all stick to it and we all pass by it. I got to bring in another speaker. Is it Kiana 2.0? I think it's Kiana. I'm not sure.
Yes, it's Kiana. Thank you so much for allowing me the platform. Hello, this is my first time being on one of you guys' platform, so thank you both. To the speakers, I don't want to say your names because I don't want to mess it up, but thank you guys, and hello to everyone in the space. I haven't been in here long, but I did just want to say, from what I've heard so far, I've absolutely loved. And one of the things that I love about it is the idea of, you know, tapping into our own resources. Like we are constantly fighting for reparations, but until we get our reparations, there are things that we can do to funnel money back into our neighborhoods. I feel like every time we support a business that is not black owned, we are leaving money on the table. We have to get these other businesses outside of our neighborhoods. We got to get them out. And that's just the beginning and the end of it, because even like after we get our reparations, this is still going to be a problem if we don't rectify it now. Like after we get our reparations, are we still going to be going to spend our reparation money at the corner store? Are we still going to be going to the Arab gas station and spending our reparation money with them? Like we have to get this in check Now we have to get these people out of our neighborhoods and start supporting our businesses and building our businesses within our neighborhoods so that we make sure that whatever money we spend, whether it be from our uh checks from our jobs, or whether it be from a check from the government, or whether it be a reparation check, we have to make sure that we are using that money to funnel it back into our communities. And we don't have to wait on a reparations check to do that. We can start boycotting. And that's what I love about what the last speaker just said, because is we have to stop supporting these businesses. You know what I mean? It might be mean an inconvenience, but we have to. If this is what I look at, if the people who participated in the Montgomery bus boycott could walk miles every single day to support what they believed in and what they knew was right. These people walk miles every day. You mean to tell me we can't drive some miles outside our way every day to support black businesses, to bankrupt these stores that's in our communities, to get them up out of here? And I think that now is the perfect time to do this, because we are more on code now than we have been in a long time. So we need to take advantage of that. We need to get these people up out of our communities. And that's just it. Because like I said, whether we give reparations today, tomorrow, or 3, 5, 10 years from now, we don't want to be spending our reparation money with these people. We want to be spending it with our people. So we got to get these folks up out of our neighborhoods and out of our communities. And I think that that's a main focus for me right now. I already don't support them. I really don't. There's some things that I have to do. I have to get gas, but like with beauty supply stores and stuff like that, nail salons, I have control over that. But for the other things, it just takes support. We have to support each other and make sure we get these black businesses off the ground and get them up and running, so that we are circulating our black dollar in our communities much longer than what we're doing right now. But I totally agree with the last speaker. We got to get these people out of our communities, because I don't, like I said, if I do get a reparations check, I don't want to spend it with them. I want to build on our community, our family. I want to keep our money in our community, and that right now, that's just not happening. Thank you guys so much for the platform. I really appreciate it. Have a great night.
You have a great night as well. Let's see who's next to speak. Darren, I think.
What's going on, FBA family?
Good
I want
evening.
to echo what Rich was saying about weaponizing, and how they weaponize on their end. But as far as our end, we got to weaponize ourselves. But I was always told it's better to be a warrior within a garden than a gardener within a warrior. And I'll land my plane with that.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Damn real. Damn real.
One thing I want to say. One thing I want to say is we gotta. There's a lot of young people in this group right now, and we're bringing the fire. But the older folks, I need y'all to stay on task. We gotta stay on task. We gotta bring the fire. Don't dilute the energy. Stay on the topic and stay on task. Because with the young generation, the millennials, we're bringing the fire. I don't want you guys, the older generation, y'all kind of get lost in like 3, 4 different subjects. So stay on task.
Much respect. Real talk. Real talk. Let's bring in another speaker. I think we rock. I think you've been trying to get in. Go ahead and speak.
Hi everyone.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time talking with my relatives. They're too comfortable. That the more comfortable people are, it's like talking to a brick wall. I don't understand what they're not getting about this. We have to weaponize. I love what they were saying about weaponize. Everything. And I do, and like the sister was saying, I do as much as I can. I I do my own hair. It's just it's crazy how I tried to get even one of my daughters. One of my daughters gets it. The other one doesn't. She's like, oh, if it's cheaper, I'm just gonna go. It doesn't matter. I'm like, what do you mean? Of course it matters. I'm I'm still encouraged though, because I know that it's gonna happen. It's been foretold that we would be the head and not the tail. Okay, so it's been foretold. Now, as far as trying to get my sister and others on board, I don't know what to do about that. I guess some people have to be just left behind. But I'm still encouraged. I love this space. I that's all I have to say.
Appreciate that. Um, who is next? I think I Love Me was next. Or did she speak already?
Um, Hello. I just wanted to. I haven't spoken yet, but it'll be really brief. With the news coming out about the reparations and how important our staying on task is, with the news coming out that there's a bio lab in Ukraine and allegedly a bio lab in China, and we know that they've been specifically studying our DNA, we have to demand our reparations because our wealth building right now and securing our communities, our own hospitals, and all that is going to start with us obtaining what is owed to us because we know that they've been studying to us. They're importing mostly all the food from China, where the bio labs are, and I mean, it just didn't sit well with me that information came out about the Ukrainian bio labs. But family, we are right now. We have this is a must. We are at ground right now. We cannot be moved. We cannot let them deter us. We cannot focus on any other thing but FBA business because I feel like if we lose sight of this thing, China benefits from white supremacy, Ukraine benefits from white supremacy. They have these labs in places that are against our own people, our people. What else are they creating in these labs that they're putting in our foods? We have to secure our what is due to us, and it is right now. This is the right now time, and that's it. I line my plane.
Appreciate that. Um, Anybody else wants to say something?
I just want to say, great spaces like this that brings on awareness, and I salute you guys for doing what you're doing. You know, um, but I think we rock every day saying that somebody's got their mic on. Uh, we we rock every day with saying about trying to pull people over the fence as far as awareness. That's a cognitive dissonance that everybody goes through. I mean, everybody wakes up at some point in their life and figure out, so damn, I had it wrong all this time. So, uh, but in reality, we don't have a whole lot of patience. We got to move on. So, again, I salute you guys for this space. Keep bringing awareness, and that's what's needed most importantly because, we got to turn a whisper into a yell. And I land my plane with that.
Yes, sir. All right, Brooke, you're up.
Hey, B1 family, how's everybody doing?
Doing
Doing great
well.
tonight.
All right. I gotta admit, following Darren, that's hard follow. So I hope I am as poignant with my words. Uh, um, just spaces like these, they keep me motivated, keep us on the front line, and keep us going. Somebody was talking about their family not coming through, and yeah, I wanted to touch up with that and follow up to what Darren was saying. Like, we are on the front lines, and we have to be mindful of the mental energy that we are taking, right? So as frontline workers, just like those nurses and everybody when the COVID first started. Oh, somebody's rep. Somebody. So
I
yeah,
rep. I rep. You got to turn off your speakers. I think it's I rep.
I think she got me.
Nah, I just muted it. Go ahead, bro.
Oh, okay. Darn it. Anyway,
You were
everybody's
talking
got
about the
their
frontline workers.
yes, frontline work. Thank you. So frontline workers, protect yourself. Reach out to who you can, and just keep that mind frame that we're all. Some of us are scared. Some of us are scared of succeeding in this life. Some of us are scared of getting our hopes up that there will be a better day. And so, protect yourself, maintain your energy, keep your spirits high, and just, do what you can to lovingly, reach out when possible. But fear, trauma, heartbreak, death, destruction. I mean, it's not only happened to us, but the people who we didn't know, not only see it in our lifetime, but we watched our parents go through it. We watched our grandparents go through it. My grandmother was just telling me the other day, they came when they lived in the inner city of Chicago, they came home and somebody had robbed them of every fucking thing except the kids' rooms. Somebody had robbed them of every piece of furniture. They took the stove, they took the refrigerator, and they had to start from scratch. And that causes scars and different things. So just I just want to commend everybody for coming here and being part of these healthy spaces and having these healthy conversations. And just remember that we're out there doing on the front lines, doing this for those who aren't strong enough to do it for themselves, but we know why they can't do it. And so I find my plane there. You guys have a great night.
You have a great night too,
Thank
Queen.
you for that.
I got to elaborate on that a little further. That was a great comment. And as we said before, it is a beautiful time to be a foundational Black American. If you ever wanted to be a part of something great, if you ever wanted to be a part of something powerful, impactful, this is it right here. As they always say, if you can't find something to live for, find something to die for. Foundational Black Americans are all the above.
Yes, sir. I envy you guys because you guys are fighting this fight and people are recognizing it. I just wish my people down in Jamaica would have enough nuts to do the same thing, but it's all about crime down there and the crooked politicians. So it's like up here is the same thing, but it's like they don't have the motivation there until they see what we're doing up here, and then they're like, okay, now we can move. Like you should be moving at the same clip, because if everybody moves at the same clip, they can't fight a war on all those fronts. That's why it's easy for them now to say, no, y'all not getting your reparations, because they're seeing one enemy coming. They should be seeing enemies coming from all sides. That's how you get your opponent to surrender. You got to put them in a corner where they can't get out. But hopefully one day.
Absolutely. I got to piggyback off of that. You make a good point. I always tell people we're birthed out of oppression. Everything that we've created, no matter how gorgeous and how beautiful it's been, has been out of oppression. Us foundational Black Americans. So the hard part is over. That's one thing. As bad as things can be for us, we got to understand slavery was the first chapter. And if the first chapter was the worst chapter, that means everything afterwards is great. Everything is it's like boxing. If you already won the previous 11 rounds, when the 12th round, it's just time to go have fun. You know what I'm saying? So right now we're going to be on code. We're going to be galvanized. We're going to have fun because the hard part is already over. This story of foundational Black Americans, the history, the tradition of us, the hard part is already past. The hard part is already past. The people from the beginning that were bought, sold, ripped apart from their families, you name anything bad that could happen to a human being, it happened to them. And we stand on the shoulders of them, our ancestors. So anything that we've already achieved, anything that we're going to achieve in the future is going to be based off the energy that they left us. And if they left us the energy now, then it's our job to get reparations and to leave that for our children. And that we will do without a doubt.
Yes,
I want
sir.
to I want to add to what you guys were saying.
All the way, baby.
Listen, if you 40 years old and you a coon, you're gonna die a coon. It's a wrap. There's nothing else that we could do for you. We can't try to rehabilitate you. We got too much stuff on our hands for us to sit here and try to baby you out of being a coon. We need the young folks, the young dudes that are lost in the streets, that don't know which direction to go. They got the fire, they got the energy, they got the ambition. They just don't have the purpose. They don't know what they need to really fight for. That's what we need to go get. If you 40 plus and you still a coon, you gotta go. You useless. You've been out here for 40 years. You didn't do nothing. You've been a coon for 40 years. Come on, get out of here. We need the young folks. We need the 40 and below. And if you're 50, 60 years old and you're not a coon, let's go. Come on, let's go. But as far as us trying to, you know, get the 50, 60-year olds, we're trying to change them, out coon them, it's just too much energy. We need the young folks, focus on them, take them, and turn them into the warriors that they already are. They just need a purpose. That's all they need.
Richard,
yeah, I agree. I
Rich
agree
over
with
there
that.
talking about he no 40 biscuits and a coon.
No, think about it, because 40, think about, I mean, for example, my grandmother, right? She's in her 70s and she still doesn't get it. But I'm not trying to convince her of nothing. I'm just be honest, she's about to exit the room. So
You know
I
what
just
it
got to
is
be.
though, Rich? A lot of the old folks, they got the benefit already. They think because they paid off their houses, they got to 65, they got the pension, they get the social security. They think that's their benefit, that's their reparations.
No, that
They don't want
that's
no
not
problem.
true. This is
It
this
is
is
true. You guys
that
don't want
that's not
no.
true.
You
I
guys don't
I
want. You guys don't want no smoke. You guys just want to die
Yeah,
peacefully
no,
and lay in your bed. Us young folks, we
that's
have
not true.
we have no fear.
No,
It,
I'm not with that. I'll be 60 this year, and I want all the smoke.
no,
I'm
no, no, no.
coming
But
with
No,
that.
we're not saying you. We're saying a
you,
lot of
yeah,
the older folks that
yeah.
are saying that
I got
this
let
reparations
me let
talk
me
is
jump in
stupid.
here. Let me jump in real quick. This is why I refuse to say generation. I don't allude to age. I always allude to your mind state. And
There
I
you
like to
go.
say era because generation puts it in an age gap. And there's people who were about that business before a lot of us were born. And there's a lot of people
Exactly.
right.
My mother was original Black Panther Party, so I'm
Oh
about that life, honey. I've
yes
been about
indeed.
that life. Oh,
Mm.
Shay, I've been about this life for a long time. I've been
Oh,
ready for the revolution. I
mm,
stay ready.
mm. And I like that type of energy because I always tell people we have the soldiers already. Anybody who's going to be a soldier is already a soldier. The army's already here. The mines is already here. That's why we have to judge people off the basis of their behavior and their action.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I try not to do the age thing because the age thing is it makes no sense because I can go down the street right now and get you a guy who's 20. He gonna be a coon for the rest of his life. You know,
Yes, sir.
Exactly. You have
and
to
you know
Did
understand
he come
some of
out of
these.
Popeyes?
You have to
yeah, he
understand some of
did.
these
He
young
did.
people are. A lot of these young people are not ready for this. The reason being is I a native New Yorker. I've been in New York all my life. These young cats are about gangs. They're not about trying to do what we're doing right now.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I'm gonna land the plane off that. Oh
Yeah,
Shay.
that's another show I'm gonna do about New York gangs, but it's not about me tonight. So, the real hot one is up now.
B1 family. Reparations. We do put out nation. We need to have some grace to this. Um, this is the information age, and all the information that we're privy to was hidden in books and hidden in seminars and hidden in all kind of other things. But I think the older generation needs praise. They actually were duped and they were privy to this information. But I also know that our warrior class, which is us and everybody behind me, like my sons and nephews and stuff, they have to understand the mistakes of the old. So we don't go back to the same thing. I have my son reading at age 5.
Your voice is kind of muddled. I think something is going on with your speaker.
Oh, okay. Is this better? Can you hear me?
It still sounds a little muffled, brother.
All right. Well, let me fix that real quick. I'll be back.
All right, let's bring in another speaker. I see Rep 4. I know you've been here for a minute. I'm curious to hear what you got to say. I rep for my ancestors. Go ahead and speak. I rep for my ancestors.
I think she might have fucked the ancestors.
Okay, let's bring in FBA Ray. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. Now I put my head down because you kind of put it down, bro. I'm a little bit older, but I can handle most stools and I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking about what kind of infrastructure we're gonna have. All that stuff sounds sweet, but if I'm out here for real, dealing with it for real, bro. So, you know, I'm just like, I hear you, man. They're gonna go after all the warrior class, old, young, whatever. If you cut like me and you move like I do, and you know what I'm saying, physically, mentally, they're gonna come after you. It comes a time they come after you when you get older in ways that you younger people never even really thought about possible. So you got to be ready. We got to all start sticking together, brother. That's the fact, man.
Yes, sir. Kiana, you wanted to say something?
Yes, sir. I just kind of wanted to piggyback off what I think it was Darren who was basically saying that there are going to be some people we are going to have to leave behind. I felt that in my soul because I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness, so there are a lot of family members who just don't or refuse to get it to see the bigger picture. And I appreciate spaces like this where I can come and I can, feel at home because I don't feel that with my immediate family. You know what I mean? I don't get that. And I'm trying to raise my children in a different way. I'm not raising them in Christianity or a religion. I'm raising them in Black power. And I feel like in that I'm breaking the generational curse. You know what I mean? So I feel good about what I'm doing. But
Could
when
I
I
add?
come in,
Could I add to that, Kiana, if you don't mind, sister?
of course.
And this is that what you're saying is the point I'm trying to make. We have to keep it 100. We can't act like the older generation has done us good this whole time because us as young folks, we're going through real things out here, and the things that we're going through, we were never prepared for. So when I mention older folks, I'm not throwing older folks out. If you're in here and you're older, you're 40 and up, then I'm not talking to you because you're B1. You're on code. I'm talking about your peers who are not on code, who are your age and still are not on code. That's who I'm talking about. And what our sister is saying is true. Like, we're going through real things and we've been through real things as younger folks. And when white supremacy hit us, when we became adults, it just surprised us because nobody ever told us, hey, we got to watch out for this group, we got to watch out for that group, we got to do this, we got to do that. Who's responsible for that? The older generation. So I'm not throwing the older generation out. I'm just calling out the older generation that been around for this long and haven't done anything. Everybody in this room that's older, I'm not talking to you because I know you guys are on code. If you guys weren't on code, you wouldn't be in this group.
Hey, Rich, I want to piggyback on you, my brother. I'm 56 years old, and what you guys are advocating, I've been beating this drum since the '80s. So don't get it twisted. I love your energy. I agree 100% on what you're saying about. Um, you know, I say it like this. My I'm an author myself, a poet. Okay, but my favorite author is time because time tells on everybody, and you are who you are, past, present, and future, and keep go with your notions about. You made a valuable point about if somebody's 40, you got to give up on them. You know, but somebody also made the point about you got 20-year-olds out here that's running around. We may have to leave them behind. You know, I mean, the code is the code. The code is the leader. I'll land my plane with that.
Can I finish my thought?
Go ahead, Queen. Continue.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Rich, because I feel like you really understood where I was coming from. But yeah, I just feel like this is what it's about. It's about breaking these generational curses and leaving something to the next generation that they can carry on to get to where we need to be as a people, because that's what I'm all about, right? I'm about, it's not just about me, because I understand that our ancestors made life sacrifices for us. They were selfless in everything that they did. You know what I mean? They thought about us. So I feel like it's our responsibility to do the same thing when it comes to the next generation. We got to think about them, and we got to make moves to secure their future the best way we know how. Um and that's why I'm all about breaking these generational curses, and you know what I mean, just trying to chip away at white supremacy every chance that we get. And I think that Brother Darren was very, very well on point when he made the point about us being on code, because that's what it's gonna take. We can't do it alone. We are going to have to come together. We are going to have to do this together. I don't feel like we need any camaraderie outside of ourselves, because we've never needed that. We've always depended on us ourselves, FBA. So I think that we are on the right track with that. But I just think that we have to continue to, strive to do the best we can. And when it comes to, old mentality, because like I said, I deal with that all the time. I go at it with my grandmother and my aunties all the time, because they think that they think I've lost my mind, because they know this is not how I was raised. But fortunately, I'm a free thinker, and I'm not a follower. So, you know what I mean? I think for myself, and that's how I teach my children to be. Don't follow behind nobody. You think for yourself, and you make the best decisions for yourself. You use your own common sense. Don't follow up behind anybody. You know what I mean? And I'm raising them in a household that's B1. So, you know what I mean? And that's when people ask me what am I doing for my community? That's what I'm doing. I'm raising my children to be about them and their community. You know what I mean? I can't get out here. I have to work. I'm a single parent. I can't get out here and put in the time that I would like to, but I am definitely raising my children to be B1 and to be about themselves and their community. And I feel like doing that, I feel confident that I'm doing the right thing. Thank you guys again for the platform.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Let me see. The real hot one. Go ahead.
All right, hopefully this is better. But
Yes, sir. Way better.
all right, cool. Uh, what I was saying is we gotta give like my boy Jason Black said, we gotta give these old niggas, me personally, some grace. I came from a family. background. You go to church Wednesday, Sunday, every day of the week, pretty much. And then that was indoctrination. Then when I left the church, I had to do my own indoctrination and understand what I was lied to about, what I had to go through, and what needs to happen for the next generation. My sons and my nieces, my nephews. We ain't scared. Well, I'm not gonna say everybody not scared. I'm not scared, and I know everybody in this room is not scared. And we're gonna take on the Gila monster, the dragon, whatever we need to do in order to bring it back home, so they can have something, so they can get up on our shoulders and increase what we have been doing. Because they didn't tell us this. They didn't make sure that we knew what we were doing. We had to go find that. And like Jason Black said, power doesn't concede to nothing but power. And this is Black Power on mine. I yield. I land that plane.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Who was next? Sister, I think you wanted to say something.
Yeah, what I just wanted to say is that what you were saying is that you know,
Your
our
mic
people.
sounds really bad.
Can you hear me now?
It's a little bit better.
Okay. Oh God, I just dropped my entire phone. What I wanted to say.
You
Hello.
still sound muffled. You still sound muffled.
Okay, can you hear me now?
It's a little bit better, but still a little bit muffled.
Come back to me.
Yes, ma'am. Brooke, go ahead.
Okay, that's horrible. I was looking forward to hear from Sister Sean. Um, okay. So somebody mentioned infrastructure. And so I don't want to talk about it too much, but I would just say for those of you who are in agriculture or retail, distribution, my company has a project going on right now where we're connecting Black owned restaurants and retailers to Black owned farms. And we're transporting the products using Black owned trucking companies. So essentially a Black owned supply chain. So when you talk about infrastructure, if any of those categories or industries are something where you're in, or even if you just want to be on the contact list and just be updated as we grow, hit me up in my DMs. I love people who are about that action. And so if you're in here about infrastructure, I would love to have your support, if nothing else, your moral support, if nothing else. All right. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I will
Can I
definitely
reply?
be DMing you about that.
Can I reply to her about that? What I was saying though, and elaborate? Is it okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
So what I was saying, listen, I had knowledge of self since I was like 13, 14 years old, bro. I was talking with y'all, talking respectfully. Even I'm not Nation of Islam, but I grew up, when I grew up, everybody was really on code to the point where everybody I even surrounded myself with was on code. We was on code with the math. Even in the mathematics, it tells you about who was the original man. And we knew that we were already here. We knew that there were 2 million of us already here, So we had, back in the day, it was kind of like this, but just everybody was on it like that. All the alpha males was on it like that. So now when we look back and I'm talking to brothers and I say infrastructure, I'm like, we don't have like adequate housing. We haven't set up stuff to help people get on their feet. I live in New York, and you got Jewish people who live in what they would call shelters, but they're apartments. So they got a running start. If anything happens to them, they got so much stuff to help them, to help their people stay on top. That you know what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean. Like we gotta, more than just community centers and stuff like that. Like there's a whole bunch of people out here, that these young people, we got to be able to give them something. They need that help. They are fighting to survive in the street and all that. That's all they got. So I mean, I can't knock them for that, but you know, we need to be able to set up something. There's a lot of these young dudes out here, homeless, living, got a car, live with a girl. You know what I mean? Just couch surfing and all that, man. We gotta lay something down for these people, man, and bring them in. That's what them old school people you talking about from the '70s did. You know,
I
that's
don't
all.
know.
Just
I don't know if you were here when we first began, but I was touching on that. I basically said how. Yeah, I don't know if you. I'm sorry. I don't know if you were here when we first began, but I was basically touching on that about how we we are the only group that don't get help from anybody. The Chinese get help, the Jews get help, the Indians get help, and what I mean by help, they get help from their community, they get help from their family, they get help from their government, they get help from this government, they get help from everyone. We're shunned when we get help. They tell us, "Oh, you guys are lazy, you guys are akatas, you guys are this, you guys are that." We're shamed into getting help. So you're
you
100%
break
correct.
it up a little bit, bro. You drop it, and I want to hear everything you said. You dropping it,
No, he
but
was
just
bringing
break
up a
it up.
point that he made earlier when we started, saying how we're the only group in this country get who doesn't get help from anybody, including the politician,
Yeah,
people
yeah.
in our own neighborhoods, even
But you know,
people that
you're right.
claim that they're with us. They're not with us. They're only with us when there's a benefit to be had.
You're right. You're right. I'll tell you, but the gentrification, it used to be that old black woman that just had a rooming house or just had something, that listen, man. I mean, I would never knock a lot of the older people because you get your power from your ancestors, man. Even when they gone, you still gonna get that power from them because with the mistakes they made in the afterlife, they're gonna bless you, bro. So we gotta stay connected. You know what I mean? The best we can. That's all I could say. You
Yeah, I
know.
mean, New York. I'm from New York, so I was privy to all that, Jewish gentrification, where they would basically incentivize people from the Midwest and out west to
Yeah.
come into our neighborhoods like Crown Heights and New Hyde Park and all that in Riverdale, and basically push everybody else further south. And then all that market value in Crown Heights, which in the '70s used to be shithole,
Hey,
and now those brownstones are going for like damn near almost $4 million.
hey, real talk though, gentrification is anywhere in America right now, my brother. You know, I
Anywhere we
Yes,
love,
sir.
yeah, you're right. You're right. Anywhere we live is up for grabs. That's another thing. Like
for that.
anywhere we live at, they trying to come in and buy shit up because it's cheap. That stigma where they not scared to live around us is the worst thing that ever happened to us. We need to make them hate it. Okay, it's something we got to start doing
I mean,
something.
yeah, I'm,
Well,
I'm down here in Atlanta now,
FBA,
and
yeah,
they're
I
pushing us.
go
They're
further
pushing
than
us
that.
further south.
They're
And
trying. They're doing. You know, this has been systemic since the '70s. You know, again, I'm older. You know, they've been impacting our communities via interstates. If you know anything about eminent domain, I even go further to eminent domain. I know here where I live, there's on ramps and off ramps to interstates, and you can impact a black community or a black business by not having an on or off ramp. In that area. So when they build, interstates, cities do things in 20-year blocks, and it's just not the interstate. It's the gentrification that comes behind the interstate. They don't. It's not the way it is. It's by design, and I'll land my plane with that.
cool.
I
Uh,
want I want to add to that if you don't guys don't mind.
but
When I was younger, I actually never seen the value in our neighborhoods, but now I see the value because I understand what could be done with a neighborhood. When you buy up all the real estate inside of a neighborhood and you turn it into community, you make the rules. So however way you want the neighborhood to look, it's how it's gonna look. That's the power in a community and in a neighborhood. White people gentrify our neighborhoods because they see the power in real estate. when you buy up all these buildings and you buy up all these blocks, you turn it into whatever you want it to be. So when they see us in our bad neighborhoods and we got crackheads all over the place and we got garbage all over the floor, they're like, "Oh, this is no problem. I know what we're gonna turn this into. We're gonna turn this into a $3 million, $4 million neighborhood, luxury neighborhood. I don't care what it is now. I'm worried about what it is. I'm concerned about what we're gonna make it. So that's how they look at it. They see the value in our neighborhoods before we see it, and they
Well,
turn it in.
piggyback on that. I want you to take a Photoshop. I mean, a freeze frame of what America is doing to Russia right now, as far as by way of sanctions, and I want you to also look at the black community. You know, they sanction them. You know, they going after the oligarchs. They cutting off their oil. Uh, Now, if you look at that same preface and you look at the black community, America's done the same thing to us. They've cut us off. They've sanctioned us for years. So we need our check. As a matter of fact, Malcolm X said it best. Uh, we didn't land on Plymouth Rock as FBA Americans. Plymouth Rock landed on us. I'll land my plane with that.
Here's a big difference between that analogy, though. At least Russia still has some allies somewhere. They cut Black Americans off here all the time, and at a certain point, it's just going to be us that need to, stimulate the economy within our own borders. Which is why getting on code is so important because we've integrated way too much of our economy into America where we don't have enough for ourselves, while everybody else did about 20%. And even if America ended today, they could still function. We're basically going to be nomads if we don't change something. And we already know how most of these groups don't like us anyway, so they're not going to take our money. And we don't have enough people that have infrastructure that we could say, okay, well, I'm going to go over to K's place and get my supplies, my guns, and all that. Or I'll go over to Jay's place and get the food and everything. There's not enough. We're too spread out. So that's why Black Alpha Network and I try to do these spaces and do these live streams so we get people thinking like that. So maybe in a year or two, you have more voices talking like that and go reach out further to people. So that's all we could basically do here is just make sure we keep echoing, build your own, work with other Black people, take the riffraff out, educate those who are willing to learn, because we need weapons out here, and that's
Can
all I
I
gotta say.
can I speak on that?
Let me ask kid
I
something.
wanted to add to it. I wanted to add to it a little bit though. I think we
So
need I think we need a database. I think we need a database of real solid FBA B1 people, so we can go. So maybe a website or something. If whatever area we in, we have the Black businesses on or maybe an app or something. I think that would go great.
Hey, brother, I've been advocating a digital green book, if you will, on several spaces. I'm down for the pound with that. Good
hey,
talk.
Darren, have you ever heard of Soul Town in North Carolina?
We have one right here in Pensacola. But let me tell you what happened to the one right here in Pensacola.
I mean,
It's
some of
it's
them are still there,
gentrified.
they just don't got no residents.
It's been gentrified. You know, I mean, matter of fact, this particular place used to be called the Blocks. If you're familiar with Pensacola, and as a kid, this is back when they did advertisement on the telegram poles. I remember James Brown, Gladys Knights and the Pip, Marvin Gaye. It was part of the Chitlin Circuit. That's no more. They've taken that place over. So
I mean, there's a couple of places that still, I guess they did kind of kill it, but them brothers still got a lot of property out there. I think I might do my due diligence, like, and check into that. Like, Soul Town was a whole town that Black people made in the 70s. I think their problem was, like we talking about, is bringing too many other people in. And when, especially you start bringing the white women in there and all of that, and that makes them people down there uncomfortable. It was too much. They was doing that in the 70s, but I just always kind of respected the principle of them buying up all that land and building houses, having their own. They had their own police department, everything like Soul Town. I forget the whole name of it in North Carolina. I got some relatives that live by that place. There's not much left of it, but they still got a lot of property out there.
Yeah, but FBA, real talk. Again, I work construction. I worked all the way across the United States, and unfortunately, I find it interesting that, back when the malls were going, everybody moved out. Well, they moved out in the suburbs. However, we had a swing of a 180 where everybody's moving back downtown. And I worked in Virginia, I worked in North Carolina, I worked in, I'm in Florida, so it's happening here in Florida. I mean, New York, everywhere, the same thing is going on. So, you know, um, unfortunately, the code we're trying to get on, they've been on code for a long time. So it's necessary that we all get on code. And again, the code needs to be the leader. I'll land my plane with that.
Let me go ahead and piggyback on something you guys all said. I look at it from the aspect as well as reparations is very, very key because it allows us the opportunity to reverse what Martin Luther King, no disrespect Martin Luther King, but segregation and being integrated created. Integration created a lot of this. It has been a lot of regentrification, but integration made a lot of black folks run away from each other. We had all the schools, we had all the teachers, we had all the things that we needed. But when we started to run and go live next to the dominant society, we gave them even more of an opportunity to take us away from each other. So if we were to gain reparations by any means, if we were to gain reparations, it would allow us an opportunity to network. It would allow us the opportunity to build with one another, create our own communities, have our own schools, our own hospitals. The whole aspect has been laid out. Marcus Garvey laid it out in the early 1900s. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad laid it out in the 1960s. Everybody knows about his book. His book laid it all out. It's to do for self, to do for self. And reparations would be the key to doing for ourselves because now we would have the actual resources, as Brother Rich was talking about. We can weaponize the finances, which allows us now to weaponize the unity, which allows us to mobilize, allows us to galvanize so we can create communities. And all the regentrification that they try to attempt upon us would be rejected and refuted because we would have our own committees, we would have our own groups. And I'm all for a database. And be honest with you, I believe Black Americans need a coalition. We need a coalition more than anything. If we all had a coalition where Black folks who are like-minded could all come and physically network, physically be in the same places and the same spaces. A lady on here earlier was talking about her business, and it's a beautiful thing because we can do this all over the internet, and that's fine and dandy. But if we had a genuine coalition backed by reparations, then we could build our own institutions, our own companies, our own communities, and everyone deep down inside truly knows that Black Americans being in the same space physically, I mean, in our own communities, that is the true key to beating the oppression, beating the distractors, and beating the dominant society and what they put forth for us. So what we should really focus on predominantly is getting back what we had. In a lot of ways, Black Americans went backwards after we integrated. Because once you integrate, you're going into someone else's house, you're living with someone else's rules, you're under someone else's jurisdiction and their dictation upon you. So if we were able to move away from that, get our reparations check, build our communities from the start, from the bottom, then you see a lot of Black people coming together. And I got a question I want to pose upon everybody, if I may. How does everyone feel about Black Americans re establishing themselves back in the South or in the community areas? I know we're very, very scarce on the West Coast. Obviously, there's not a lot of us in Middle America, but from the North to the South, I know there is a mass movement of Black Americans heading back down south. I believe in a lot of ways, Black Americans coming back down south can be a good thing. Can be a good thing. They're doing it anyway. They're migrating back down south anyway. But if you're migrating back down south and you're still standing away from one another, it takes you nowhere at all. So what we should do is we should migrate down south or stay on the up north, the East Coast, the Midwest. But wherever we are, we have to communicate with each other and build something. So I want to know what people's feelings are about a mass, I would say, re-migration back down to the South. And I'll take anybody who wants to answer. Matter of fact, I see Sister Sean is back. Go ahead and speak on it, sister.
Oh wow, you guys got my brains everywhere. I'm gonna lay some stuff down, but I want to speak to what you said. Immediately, I would say I am in wholehearted agreement with getting our feet back down south. I'm gonna go real quick, just to touch on a bunch of stuff, but what I'd like to really say is that we have a lot of old fools out here, and ideology is important, and that's speaking to you, Black Alpha. We got a old heads that's immature, and that's what we call an old fool, right? And then I
Right.
want to put in a yeah. So we can't really look at age. I think you were talking about era versus age. You don't look into no, we don't look into that. You look at what your mindset is. We look into what your ideology is, not your age, because there's a lot of old fools out here, right? And then for mothers, something you sparked another thing in me. A lot of times I know we all heard this before. We said, oh, with our children, oh, this grown folks business. I know everybody in this space heard that before. I would say as a mother, we got to stop that. It's not grown folks business, because at the end of the day, grown folks business is the real world. And that's what we have to prepare our children for, the real world, good or bad. So I think we should kind of ease off on what grown folks' business is, because grown folks' business really equates to preparing them for reality. So we don't want to coddle them to the point where they so weak they get out here and get busted upside their head with all this racism, and they don't know how to deal with it. So let's stop with that grown folks business. Let's just say we are teaching and we are growing, we are cultivating our children and preparing our future soldiers. Okay? It's not grown folks business. Don't send them away to the back room to not understand nothing. No. Have them on Front Street, not on Back Street. Because at the end of the day, they're going to have to be in the streets. And when you're not here, you're going to have to protect them. So with my children, ain't nothing no grown folks business. I don't care. I mean, I'm gonna be a proper with it, but I get deep with them. I get real deep, cause the deeper I get with them, the more ready they are for them streets. Cause see, mama can help you in these walls, but once you get off these walls, mama can't help you.
Oh
I
man,
don't. I don't shield them.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't
yes,
shield them.
ma'am.
So we got to stop that. Okay, now, man, so much with these damn immigrants. It's something that we don't know about. I'm going to teach you. It's called benevolent funds. Because we look around, how did you get this? And how did you get
Yes,
that?
ma'am.
You heard about that, kid?
Yes, ma'am. I'm from New York. I was all over the place with that, with the Haitians, the goddamn Grenadians,
Yep.
the Africans up in Harlem. Oh
They
yeah, I
get
know all about them.
Yep, they get benevolent funds. And you got to remember, these people have an entire country to themselves to pull from. And they get benevolent funds from their country. On top of that, they get all of the extra benefit and funds that we fought for.
Yes, ma'am. And it's all funneled through the damn church.
Yeah, so we got to really understand that they really do have an advantage, and we have to reject all of those stereotypes that we lazy and pull yourself out by your bootstraps and all this old bullshit that they tell us, right? And then on top of that, they got a whole damn office to funnel them through the process. They call it Office of New Americas, and we're funding that, our taxpayers. That's why we're actually fighting to get the new Freedmen's Bureau. We need a Freedmen's Bureau where I don't care if you graduated college, you dropped out of high school, it needs to be one space or one place for our children, man, female, male. I don't care if you dropped out of high school. You go to one place and you get, okay, what do I do in life? Okay, I ain't got a college degree. I got a high school. They need to be pipelined into a trade, a job, or directed business, handhold, resume services, all that. That's
Yes,
what
ma'am.
they're doing for these immigrants. They are hand holding them and catwalking them right into jobs and prosperity using
Yes,
our money.
yes, ma'am. That's why I tell people all the time: stop sending your kids to college. Get them a trade. Because a lot of these,
Yes.
because I was watching the job market, especially during this pandemic, and a lot of those companies changed their criteria. They need people that can do the job. They not looking for these college graduates anymore, unless you put in some work.
Yeah, and so let me get to man, I'm gonna do this other thing. I gotta get back to Black Alpha. I agree with going back down south. If you and even if you can't go back there, I say keep your little pinky toe in it. In other words, if you got family down there, make sure you maintain your land. I would
Exactly.
get together. If you can't afford it, do group purchasing. One or two people, get yourself some land, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Because I have land, and I tell you, I don't have to pay no water. I don't have to pay nothing but electric. I mean, I literally live, I can live if I want to go there. I'm not there, I'm in the city, but I can live for like less than $150 a month.
That's what's up.
Whereas in the city where I'm living, I pay like $3,000 a month.
Well, your $150 down there is gonna pay your gas bill for your car.
Yep, it's only going to be my gas for my car. So we got to get back down south, and it's also strategic for political reasons, but it's very very important just for survival reasons because the cost of living is so high. It's just it doesn't even make sense, and I don't even like paying what we have to pay up here, but I have to be up here for different purposes. But I don't have to spend all this money. I have a place to go. I
Nipsey
don't have to
Hussle
pay any water.
Nipsey Hussle was buying back his neighborhood and turning his neighborhood into a community. This is why they got rid of him because he was taking all the Rolling 60s Crips and he was taking them, giving them jobs, giving them opportunities. What that does is it creates an ecosystem inside of the community. Now it's less violence because hey, I work with him across the street. That's my homeboy. We on the same team. His boss is Nipsey Hussle. My boss is Nipsey Hussle. So that's what Nipsey Hussle was doing. He was buying his neighborhood back and turning his neighborhood into a community. Do you know how powerful that is?
You're cutting out, Rich.
Yeah, yeah, it was a little murky, but what I would say is, keep one spot in the city, but really put your foot down there in the south, because
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
that's where you're gonna have to run, right? And so back to
Yeah, Nipsey went to
another
Atlanta
quick
for
thing,
sure.
this gentrification thing. Let me just tell you what's up on Capitol Hill, right here in Washington D.C. They got the pre-K program, and it wasn't until the white folks started moving in. Now a lot of people don't know around Capitol Hill, where our government is, was nothing but ghettos.
Yes, ma'am.
So it all got gentrified, right? And so for me and my own personal experience, so what you call a pre-K program, that's really from 3 to 4 years old, right? So now when the white folks came in, they built the new schools around Capitol Hill, and they put the pre-K program, which is 3 to 4 years old, which is really good if you're especially somebody like me, is a working mother. I couldn't. It's free. It's only free now that the white folks is in. But when my child was 3 to 4, me and my husband had to pay $800 and $900 a month. So we had to pay $800 and $900 a month just to be able to get to work to take care of our child. And then we had to pay, rent. We didn't get them kind of breaks. But it's like when the people started moving in, all of a sudden they got the free pre-K program.
Yeah,
Okay?
Universal pre-K.
So these are the kind of things that hurt us as black families. But we had to just push it out. And it was like it is what it is. Because we were to make sure our son was good and make sure he was in a decent place where he was learning. Because what ends up happening is not everybody can pay $800 or $900 a month for their child. They get like some side babysitter who ain't teaching them nothing. You know what I mean? They're just literally sitting in front of a TV. So, but we was hustling because we both were working, right? So we kicked out. We shaved off our own personal, things for we could pay that damn 9 8. It was like 900 a month for at least. I mean, we only had to do it for like 2 years, right? Anyhow, back to yeah. Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
See,
we got you got
you guys
you
get
got
my brains going.
Yeah,
we got other people that want to speak. So you
Okay,
gotta
but
yeah,
let me.
finish up.
This is what I really wanted to talk about. But all the other conversations just kind of lead into other conversations. I wanted to say to the space, reparations and preparation. Here's what I need you to do. I need everybody to go out and buy you a waterproof backpack. Okay? So we got stuff going internally in our country and we're listening to these wars. And I already talked about the land. Get together, get your land, get you a waterproof backpack, get you a mini solar pack, right? In case something goes down, get you some iodine, get you some preparation type situation. I call it a bug out bag. Get your bug out bag, put you some beans up in there, and get your medicines, your solar power pack. Make sure it's waterproof so your phone don't get drowned out. Get you your your little pepper spray, your medicines, and get you your emergency blankets, anything for something that's about to go down. So we need to start prepping, get outside on your porch and start growing peppers, tomatoes, start growing, learn agriculture, get back to growing. I don't care if it's in
yeah.
a damn little pot.
Yes,
Okay?
ma'am.
Okay. And love you guys. Bye-bye.
Love you too. Kiana, go ahead. Kiana? No. Okay. We got a new speaker, Irie Farmer. Go ahead.
Yes, yes. Peace and love, family. Just the beloved sister was just amazing and eloquent as she does with the farming. To also, just if anybody else wants to get a heads up on that, I'm working with Brother Rashad Singleton right now and getting something going on with farmers. He's trying to put together something for people to do money, build houses, health, and farming aspects. So I do the farming aspect. So if somebody want to go ahead and learn more about farming, I teach you to do everything from farming from your grocery store. My main populace that I go ahead and promote my stuff to is to us, foundational Black American Negroes. I teach us how to literally go ahead and seek organic solutions out here in the world. One of my main big things is urban organic farming. Take your front yard, take your balcony if you don't have a yard. Um, any type of stuff. I'm accessible, but just go ahead and, like the sister said, get you some tomatoes, some peppers, some any type of foods that you eat. You want to grow. So one of the main mottos to that is you eat what you grow and you grow what you eat. It's not very hard. You can start off with herbs. Also, they have beautiful spiritual respects to them. Also, when you talk about especially basil at your front door, it can relieve stress. It is also found out that basil does the same thing as psychotic drugs that they have as far as relaxing people. So whereas the colonizers literally go ahead and want to drug out people due to the stresses that they've caused us over the past 400 plus years, we have natural solutions when we connect ourselves back to Earth because that's exactly where we're from. So just echoing on that, the beloved sister definitely sparked something in that. Thank you guys for holding this space. The reparations roundtable. I was very upset this morning. I also did a space. Not many people came because I'm just learning how to really get in these spaces. But one of the main things I was upset was just that whenever people want to get money, especially Europeans, they always net. They don't have to do a study. They don't have to go ahead and go and meet in the back room to come up with some solutions on how to squander their opportunities. They could come up with 13 billion, 200 trillion, 200 million, 500 million, and within a matter of days. We see how in Ukraine right now, Ukraine has a history of anti-black racism. They want to paint the world up against Putin, and we know we have no dog in this fight. But we also know it's a good saying from the Art of War: "Enemy of my enemy is may also be my friend." And so when Putin's going out and saying he's wanting to stop drug using neo-Nazi people that's running from a position of power, we also see that that aligns with a lot of our fight because we know that these troglodytes have a drug problem that literally is pervading their communities. But unlike my aunt and them who went to jail from crack cocaine and then going ahead and being called junkies and a little bit of drugs in a system. Got my cousins and them locked up with mandatory minimums in New York and New Jersey. These people now literally are sitting out getting drugs, getting needles, getting rubber bands, getting alcohol swabs, getting fresh sterile needles. My ancestors had to figure out how to keep a needle clean. These people are getting sterile needles every time they go ahead and want to get their rush. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, that is a form of reparations for their own people. And we're sitting out here still being damaged, still being hurt from these people, and we never are allowed a space to grow and heal. And I believe that the reason that we look at these people as a legitimate government is literally doing us a disservice. I believe this government has literally lost all forms of legitimacy in any eyes of any other nation. Even China was scolding them on the treatment of how they treat our foundational Black American Negroes and brought them to question of how dare they even come at China for human right violations and use this as the example that they used for America for those violations. And I'll land just with the fact that reparations is not a privilege. Reparations is not a choice. Reparations is a must. There's an atonement to pay. Not all reparations will come in the form of money because I honestly believe my ancestors need to have the same amount of equal blood that was shed for them to be shed also. And that form of monetary reparations, we won't allow them to just pay, but they will pay us for the next 100 years at least. They will pay us with at least $20 trillion at the minimum. And these things are non negotiable. And I believe if we literally take that perspective of Dr. King, when he said we coming for our check with all means necessary, by any means and all means necessary, that we will see a goal and a brighter future for our children. To the sister, me and our family, I also gave birth to my children at home. It was not easy to the fact that it was brand new, but all praise to the Most High. The Spirit and the ancestors guided me to understanding how to work with my wife, and we worked as a team. And we literally had home births. Our children have no vaccines. Our children is not connected to the systems with social security numbers and such. We're not setting up any contracts to sign with the government outside of reparations. And I thank you, Black men, for holding this space, and a Black woman, Sister Cherie. I love you so much, beloved. I appreciate the work that y'all do and how we're coming together as a nation within a nation out of our own tribulation. And our land. Much love, peace, and reparations, beloved Black family.
Well said for that. Thank you. FBA Ray, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask if there's anybody in here, like we were talking about land and stuff like that. Now, one thing I will say is I wish when I was younger, this kind of conversation was going down. You know, my first wife is a Trinidadian, and all I can say is it didn't turn out good. So now you see, I see that, you know, my two oldest kids. There's a situation with some land. If there's anybody who could probably help me with that, I got some land and an entanglement with them. They turn they turn cutthroat. They, you know, all the relatives are in their ear about Americans and all that, man. So I've been dealing with this firsthand for a long time, and to the point where I just don't deal with them much like that. And I really could use any information about the situation with obtaining the land, and somebody could inbox me. I would really appreciate it. Or has any advice, anything like that.
I got a person on Instagram that you could hit up. I'll DM it to you afterwards.
Thank you. Who said that though? Real quick.
Kid Gravity.
Okay, I'm gonna send you a. You know, I think I just sent you the thing to follow you, but
yeah.
If you could send me a link and all, I would really appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, I got you. Let's see. Who was this? Kiana, you there or not? I know it's late. She probably went to sleep. Anybody else want to say something? Let's not move people out. Let's get some new people in here.
I was gonna say that land started bringing out the whole that land brought out the whole. To them, that land really isn't worth. To me, that land ain't worth a lot of money. But to them, and being that they come from nothing, and where they come from on that originally, where she comes from on that island, You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. You know, it's that they.
Brother, this is Sister Sean. That land is worth everything. I just DM'd you. Don't let it go. We'll talk later.
Thank you, sister. Appreciate it.
Hello,
Yes, ma'am.
can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, thanks for having me on. I just got a thing to say. Since we're about to come into an election term, I think that any and all FBAs, before you sign on to anybody, if you're going to vote, make sure you ask them straight up, outright. How do you feel about a reparations bill for foundational Black Americans only? I just had that issue with a guy who was running, and I asked him straight up, and he told me no, and I walked away. Everybody looking at me all funny. Look, if you're not going to support my agenda for me and my people, I got no reason to support you. And I think that foundational Black Americans got to stop with the identity politics. Stop just writing, voting for people because you see they've been doing some work in your area or whatever, because these people are not for you. And if they're not going to be for you, what's the point in voting at all? I'm not saying don't vote.